California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half, and if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me, and now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Whether you're shaping up a small yard or tackling serious acreage, Steel, walk-behind, zero-turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow. Available at participating dealers.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Ooh, ma.
What was that?
That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
Sun is shining, the chairlifts are spinning. That's right, stellar weather here at Palisades. What are you waiting for? Hop in your Toyota and head on up here. I'm Johnny Mosley, and this is your Thursday Toyota Tahoe Report.
Thanks, Johnny. Mostly sunny with a high near 63. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low around 44. And tomorrow, expect the sun to shine over Tahoe with a high near 60. This report is brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Spring has sprung, and now is the best time to spruce up your home. Between spring cleaning and evaluating your home, it is the perfect time to reach out to the folks at the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento. Jason Ross here, and I'm so glad we did. We reached out, and we're now about a month in to our brand new garage doors. Now, first off, we improved our curb appeal. They look great, and it's one of the first things people notice when they approach your home. A new, modern, stylish garage door can improve the overall appearance of your home, just like it did for us. Also, how about this for a nice benefit? The return of investment. A new garage door is high on the return of investment home improvement project list. It's one of the more cost-effective upgrades you can make to improve your home's value. Hey, see for yourself. Check out their products. Go to the showroom at 6756 Franklin Boulevard and ask about the Sacktown Sports Special. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
Sacramento Kings basketball.
The Sacramento Kings have pulled off the improbable.
The run to the playoffs.
Here's a steal by Kia. Career high 6. Breakaway. Hammer time.
On Sacktown Sports 1140.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and this is your 2025 Masters Update. Stefan Jaeger is in first place at 4 under through 12. Scotty Scheffler is at 3 under, while Justin Rose is tied with him at 3 under through 3 holes. Coverage of the Masters is brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Phoenix lost. They have been eliminated Kings' magic number is 1 to host Dallas on a play-in game a week from tonight. Our final score in this one, Denver 124, Sacramento 116.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Yes. We have made it to Thursday. Taking you up to 2 p.m. Kyle Ledbetter behind the glass for you as always. And it was a great run. 3 games to be exact. 1 game against a team that the Kings should have beaten, and 2 against teams that nobody thought the Kings were going to beat. And we enjoyed every single minute of it. I know I did, but it's over now. The Kings lose. The win streak is over. They lose 124 to 116 against the Denver Nuggets. And I should say a very motivated Denver Nuggets team. After moving on from Mike Malone and their GM, Calvin Booth, it seemed like the team would be in disarray. But in reality, it seemed as if that's what they wanted. And Mike Malone, for all of the regard that he's been held in, we never know what's going on inside a locker room. And what we learned is that maybe the dysfunction that we put and how we label certain teams with that term, including the Sacramento Kings, maybe dysfunction is more rampant in the NBA than we think. Because we have some sound from Nikola Jokic, who essentially said, yeah, it's been a good 10 years, but time has come to an end. We needed a new voice. And that new voice, Mr. Coach Adelman, and that name and that coaching sound reigns true in Sacramento. He was just that. And the same thing that we've seen from the Memphis Grizzlies, and I would say to a lesser degree out here in Sacramento, because when Sacramento did it, it wasn't the thing to do yet. It wasn't hot. It wasn't sexy. Sacramento got made fun of for doing it, of course. Now, all of a sudden, I got to read all this stuff about how Adelman is the perfect guy for the job, and you should see how he acted throughout the pregame presser and postgame presser, and how the team reacted to him. The same things we saw with Doug Christie, by the way. And at one point, Jokic, I think he had a whiteboard or something in his hand. Looks like he's calling a play. Looks like he's doing the coaching. But it's the Nuggets, and they won a championship. So, of course, it makes more sense. The narratives will continue to narrative. Now, I'm not saying that should excuse anything that the Kings have done throughout the past couple years here, specifically this year with how they've handled things. But it is interesting to me how everything gets received differently. How when it's the Kings, it's a terrible decision. When it's the Memphis Grizzlies, weren't really sure what type of decision it was. But with the Nuggets, because Jokic is involved, it must make sense. When, by the way, that coach was the most accomplished out of the 3. But if that's what Mr. Jokic wants, that's what he's going to get. And they responded. No Jamal Murray last night for the Nuggets, no problem. No Keegan Murray, no Malik Monk. And, of course, speaking of Malik Monk is going to miss the rest of the season with that calf injury, and just really tough sledding. Really tough sledding for Malik Monk. This is some really bad luck. That's the easiest way I could put it. 2 years in a row, and we're still waiting to see what the deal is with Keegan Murray. But Malik Monk, who this is honestly a carbon copy of last season. If everybody remembers, last season, Malik Monk struggled as well towards the end of the season. That Orlando Magic game, he had 0 points, right? And he was struggling a bit, then got injured. The same thing happened this season. Completely different circumstances, but the same exact thing happened. And now we're finding ourselves in a position where we hope that the Kings will survive long enough to get Malik Monk back. Then at that time, we will have a conversation. Well, they've been playing so well without Malik. Do we want him back into the fold? What if Terrence Davis starts doing things that we saw in the Beam Team era, in the Beam Team season? Who knows? But at its core, removing everything about the Sacramento Kings, removing everything about on the basketball court, your fandom as it pertains to wins and losses, I feel for Malik Monk when this is really money time, right? If you have a little slump throughout the season, it's all fine and good because you can make up for it in the postseason as the Kings get ready for a play-in. A crazy game from Malik Monk against the Mavs or the Warriors, don't get me started, when we pocket watch who's in the play-in right now, or the Grizzlies or whoever it is, everything would be forgotten. Malik Monk, the turnover issues that he's had, the shooting issues that he's had, all could be forgotten. But now he doesn't get that opportunity. And the last thing we remember from Malik Monk this season is going to be the fact that he struggled. And that maybe this point guard thing is harder than it looks. So I feel gutted for Malik Monk. Got that news yesterday when everybody else saw it and just thought exactly what everybody else did. Not again. Not again. And on top of that, to go into this game with the Nuggets, and I know some people were mad at me about what I said as far as if the Kings lose, I had some fun about, hey, maybe making sure you lose. But honestly, I felt like it would take care of itself anyway because the Kings were 0-3 against the Nuggets. And what happened? Kind of the same thing that we've always seen. I would say a little bit different because I honestly feel like the Nuggets played better in this game than they had in some of the other games against the Kings. You had the first game when DeMar dropped the ball. Could Jokic have fouled him or not? We'll never know. And then you had the game where the Nuggets really controlled it for majority of the game, and then Dougie Buckets made it a little bit closer. Then the last go-round where the Kings outplayed the Nuggets, and the Nuggets still won. This might have been, if you split them in 3 games, this game, to be the 4th game, was closer to a game where the Nuggets did outplay the Kings. The Kings couldn't get rebounds, and the Kings couldn't defend. That's a problem. And as good as Jamal Murray can be, when you let guys like Jalen Pickett and Aaron Gordon drop 21 and 18, and Michael Porter Jr. has 4 threes, and Christian Brown has 25 points, and they're just running layup lines, that's going to be a problem. So I think my takeaway from last night, now that we know that Malik Monk is not going to be with the team, obviously this always came down to you can't continue to miss both of your best wing defenders. I would say Jake LaRavia is the second best wing defender to Keegan Murray. I think Keon gets a shout, but it depends on what size that wing is. I'm not talking about my wings from the cat's meow that I had yesterday for lunch. So you got to get Keegan Murray back and or Jake LaRavia. Offensively, I do think that this team, what we saw yesterday, and I know the Nuggets aren't very good at defense, but what we saw yesterday did still give me hope about the Kings in the play-in. We wanted to know what happens when the Zach LaVine heater cools off. And in reality, he still shot 50% from the field and 50% from three-point land. He had 27 points, but it was more realistic. It felt more realistic. He had 11 assists too, by the way. Double-double. We know Jokic had a triple-double. I'm sure Kyle can't wait to tell us that. DeMar DeRozan had 22. Trey Lyles had 17, which is more than you would typically expect, of course. Keon Ellis had 20. Domantas Sabonis had 13. So you work those numbers around and you say, hey, this is realistic. This is a realistic offense for the Sacramento Kings. What we saw in Detroit, what we saw in Cleveland was a lot of fun. I'm not sure how realistic it was. So I left that game thinking the Nuggets clearly had a lot to play for. Clearly, it felt like varsity blues when they got that coach out of there and they felt free to do what they want. So they were playing with a lot of, we need to show people why we had to make this move. Kroenke talked to the Nuggets on Wednesday at practice, said, bring the joy back. So they were in full-on kumbaya mode to get this done. The Kings hung with, I still don't want to see the Nuggets in the play. And I feel like everyone probably agrees with me a little bit more now. And if you don't, 916-339-1140. But you see the Kings unable to defend, unable to rebound. Their offense, I would say it was a good offensive night, but not unrealistic. It made me feel like, hey, still feel good against the Mavericks. I do want to talk about the Mavericks and how we might be underestimating them a little bit, but still feel good about the Mavericks. And if you get who I want you to get in that second game, my vision is still clear to get into the playoffs. You add Keegan Murray. Hopefully you get back Jake LaRavia, and you have those guys who can shoot the three ball as well. You know Zach LaVine is still going to be doing his thing. I don't think that adding those guys takes away from Zach LaVine and how aggressive he's been. You know DeMar is who he's going to be. So I still feel really good about where the Kings are at. They have to tighten up some things. You add Keegan, that's going to help the rebounding. You add Keegan, that's going to help the defense. You add Jake LaRavia, that's going to help the defense. You add Jake LaRavia, that's going to help the shooting. So I still feel good about it. Last night was a very weird feeling game, and that's where we're at right now. Tomorrow they'll have the Clippers. We still want to hopefully lock up that 9 seed with a win and a Suns loss, or maybe it comes down to the last game, or excuse me, a Mavs loss, something like that. But I felt good about last night because it was a realistic game and the Kings still had a chance. That three-game winning streak was great. Trying to figure out how realistic that was. Last night, we saw them regress to the mean a little bit, and they still had an opportunity missing guys. I know Jamal Murray was missing as well, but I think both sides got that production from their guys, from other dudes. So I still feel good about it. Now that Luka and all of that stuff is over, I do want to talk about the Mavs and how we shouldn't underestimate them. The Warriors are in the play-in as of right now, thanks to old friend of both of those teams, the Warriors and the Kings. So we'll talk about Malik Monk, discussing what that means for the Kings with him out. Chris Watkins joins us at 12 o'clock for a couple segments. Excited to see how Chris feels. We will get to what Sam Amick said, not just on our show, but also, the morning show, but also in his Athletic article about the Nuggets. Did this season make the Kings look a little bit less dysfunctional? And by the way, speaking of less dysfunction, the Kings have some of the best contracts in the NBA, according to Forbes. 4 hours with you. Going to be a fun one. We are doing it. Little throwback Thursday. I know Kyle will have the music going for you, taking you up to your Friday. And I know it's going to be a payday for some of y'all. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Jalen picking it up now against Zach LaVine. LaVine reaching, digging. Here comes the screen from Jokic. Spin move to the left by Pickett. Ball fake. Bounce pass now goes to the Joker. Top of the foul circle. 5 on the clock. To his right. Feeds a pass to the low post. They swing it. Porter. 1 on the clock. Watches the 3. Dagger. Thrown down there by Michael Porter Jr. As the ball left his hand, the red lights around the basket came on and the horn sounded, but he bailed it and got rid of it just in time.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
I do feel like we've spent a lot of time on the Nuggets, and not just this show, a lot of people. And it is a fascinating situation, but now that the Kings have played the Nuggets, we obviously have to keep an eye on them the same way we keep an eye on all the teams that are stuck in that 3-8 situation. But this is not a Nuggets show, and I don't want to spend that much more time on the Nuggets. They're dealing with their drama. It's one of those situations where it's fun to watch because you're used to everybody up in your stuff about your drama and what's going on there. So you get to look at a little bit of the Mavs drama, which was more cut and dry, and now everybody just hates Nico. But this Nuggets drama, I think the fascinating thing about the Nuggets drama is that they're one of those teams that people in Sacramento or a Kings team in general, and we've spent a lot of time on them, you kind of put that team on a pedestal, right? And Chris Watkins is going to be joining us at 12 o'clock. Even last year doing the show, there were a lot of conversations about, the Kings need to follow the Nuggets model. Everybody needs to follow that model because they're a small market or a smaller market, and they were able to win a championship, and this is how they did it. And you're looking up to them. It's almost like when you see and it should never be a celebrity couple, but a relationship that you think is relationship goals, right? You and your girl might argue, whatever it is, and you see this couple on Instagram, or maybe you know them, and every time you kick it with them, they look like they're having so much fun. They got kids, but they still have time for each other, and everything is great. And then you find out that someone messed around on somebody else, and they actually haven't been sleeping in the same room for the last 2 years, and you're thinking, man, I thought you were relationship goals. Where am I supposed to look next? I can't look at a Boston. Boston's like a celebrity couple. I can't look at Boston. I can't look at LA. I can't look at them. I was supposed to look at you. And when everything went down with the Nuggets, it made a lot of us realize things aren't perfect in a lot of places. And with the player control that a lot of these dudes have now, when everything went down with the Brooklyn Nets, player control took the form of movement. James Harden, player control. Kevin Durant, player control. And you also have, obviously, Kyrie, player control. But what we're learning is that this player control doesn't necessarily mean I want to move and I want to leave and I don't want to honor a contract, anything like that. It's also about I'm making decisions within the group. And I'm telling you right now, we continue to talk about it. The bigger these contracts get, the more power these dudes are going to have. When Victor Wembanyama is up for whatever extension or whatever huge payday where he makes $800 million a year, you think he's not going to have a seat at the table? When we just hired a coach, Victor. Yeah, well, don't like him anymore. That was last week. Get me a new one. Okay, Victor, we're paying you $1 billion. So we're approaching kind of a new wave and a new stratosphere where when we think of player power, we just thought of, hey, this guy wants out. Paul George wants out. Whatever it is, you have to facilitate it because they have that much power. But it's not just that. These GMs, honestly, to me, are going to find themselves, and I would say obviously coaches, but all these guys are going to find themselves in tough situations where you kind of turn into middlemen. And y'all know I love talking about business and the corporate world where I come from. And whenever a company has layoffs, the company always looks towards those VPs and those senior managers that you might not necessarily need, right? I've always been told, hey, if you're a mid-level guy or a mid-level employee, you're in the scariest position. Because they're going to look around and say, well, we have a manager and we have associates. Do we really need a senior manager? We have a director. Do we really need a senior director? We have one VP. Why exactly do we have two VPs? Where can we cut the fat? So you're looking at this thinking, Jokic, he's not really denying it. And some of the sound from the postgame, he says that he was told before other people, but it was not a discussion. Now, I wouldn't say that Jokic is lying. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that word travels fast, and these organizations are pretty close-knit. So if Jokic wasn't happy with Michael Malone, or if there were a group of players happy with Michael Malone and Jokic wasn't one of them, or the reverse, they're going to find out. So it's very LeBron-esque, where it's, hey, I never said to out Michael Malone. But ... What he doesn't say out loud is, but did people know that I wasn't a huge fan? Yeah. They may or may not have known that. So I'm really fascinated by what Sam Amick said. We're going to get to some of that sound a little bit later in the show, where this could be the norm, right? When your voice gets old, quote unquote, this whole losing the locker room thing. I mean, these coaches are going to be afraid to do anything. I don't want to lose the locker room. Guys, run liners. We don't want to. Okay, I don't want to lose a locker room. Would you like to run liners? Would you like to watch film? What do you want to do? Just have player run practices. That's why Jokic in the huddle yesterday, he was saying a bunch of stuff. You just run the team. The coaches are just there to make certain substitutions. That's what it might turn into. So as we look at the Kings and Doug Christie, could Doug Christie be one of those guys that kind of marries both sides, where it's, hey, I understand what the old school approach is, but some of these dudes want things differently. The other difference is that right now the Kings don't have anybody in that organization with that much power. No, not even Domantas Sabonis, I don't think. And lucky enough for Doug Christie, Domantas Sabonis really likes Doug Christie. So we are headed towards a whole new situation here. And I did want to say this, with Jalen Pickett having his huge game, what I learned, because obviously we had Ryan Blackburn on the show yesterday. Go check that out on YouTube. Really good stuff. He gave us information that didn't come out until this morning with Sam Amick and that story, but we had it via Ryan Blackburn yesterday on the show. So shout out to Ryan for that information. But Jalen Pickett seems like he was essentially the Nuggets Keon Ellis. Jalen Pickett was not being played because Michael Malone wanted to play Russell Westbrook. And Jalen Pickett, what he did out of Penn State, what he did yesterday was really impressive. Jokic spoke very highly of him. It felt like a carbon copy of a Keon Ellis situation, which would make Russell Westbrook Kevin Huerter, possibly, or somebody like that. So that is the drama that the Nuggets had going on, and very similar to what the Kings had going on as well, and both handled similarly. And we'll see how it works out for both sides. When we return, let's break down what happened in Sacramento as the Kings winning streak comes to an end. Jokic had the quietest triple-double you've ever seen. And Zach LaVine, based on what he had been doing, probably had the quietest 27 points you've ever seen. The winning streak is over, but we continue on. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Friday night, Kings and Clippers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Unlock your business's potential with Roxas Technology Solutions. Their mission is to empower growth through cutting-edge, reliable, and scalable technology. They tailor solutions to enhance efficiency and foster innovation, ensuring your business thrives in the digital age. Located in Sacramento, their dedicated team is ready to partner with you for your long-term success. Transform your business now. Go to roxtech.com. That's WROXTECH.com. Rox Tech, tomorrow's technology at your fingertips today.
It's the final days of the spring sales event. Drive home your new Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at folsomlakehonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV, RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet?
RV wins!
Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach?
RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states and situations.
Spring is here, and that means gigantic savings for all your oil change needs at Jiffy Lube today. Get a $25 gift card with the purchase of any Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change through May 31st at your local Jiffy Lube service center in the greater Sacramento areas. And don't forget about the additional $30 off online coupon at jiffylube.com. Terms apply. Valid email address required. See pennzoil.com/rewards for details. Jiffy Lube, huge spring savings for you today.
The wait is over. Rivercats baseball is back. Whether you're cheering on your team with friends or enjoying a fun night out with the family, Sutter Health Park is the place to be. With exciting giveaways, great food, and plenty of entertainment, join us for another year of Rivercats memories all season long. Don't miss the first games of 2025. Grab your tickets today at rivercats.com.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Rocks Tech, Michelob Ultra, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. More info at CITPFest.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Get it with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Hey, 73-58, 9:38 to go here in the third quarter. Check this out, Jerry. Look who's drawing up plays in this Denver huddle. That's their center, their future Hall of Famer, Jokic, with the clipboard, the whiteboard right there.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
We are headed towards robot umps. We are headed towards the laser in the NFL. No more chain gang. I mean, in 15, 20 years, are coaches necessary? Everything repeats itself anyway. Remember player coaches? Are there just going to be player coaches in 15, 20 years that would save the organization's money? Obviously, you would have someone that the players can go back and forth with and agree with because they play. Make LeBron a coach, make Jokic a coach. It's not the craziest thing.
Is the idea that star players would soon be the coaches?
I think so.
Because like Udonis Haslem was.
That's what I was going to say. It's got to be a star player or a Udonis Haslem.
Well, because I feel like those already exist. Like I was watching that Mavericks game yesterday and I saw, Jared Dudley is like the defensive coordinator for the Mavericks. And I was like, Jared Dudley was essentially a player coach his last years with the Lakers. And then when Jason Kidd took the Mavericks job, he became a coach. So like, I feel like that already exists. What you're talking about is having coaching influence on the players. Because, like, first of all, let's not forget LeBron James got his podcast co-host a head coaching job with no experience. Let's not pretend like this doesn't already happen. I'm just saying that your idea is that
I'm talking about literally throwback player coaches. No, there is no coach.
I don't think it's going to happen only because that's just so much responsibility. Like the players, I understand if players start making more money, you say that they should have more responsibility, but imagine how much responsibility is already on being a star player in the NBA.
I also think it depends on what they want, right? Just like at work. You have guys that want to be individual contributors, guys that want to be people managers. Maybe LeBron doesn't want to be a people manager. No. You just get the option, right? Hey, at the beginning of every season, hey guys, you want us to bring in a guy or are we going to go player coach? And LeBron says, yeah, I'll coach this season.
So
I think it's crazy, man.
So how in this situation, you're saying that by title, they would start naming people? Because like, star players have been picking coaches for years. That's not a new phenomenon.
Kyle, you're not hearing me.
I know, but
no coaches.
No, but you're making the leap to an organization by title, naming a player as the coach.
That's right. If you're gonna, if what Sam Amick is saying, hey, these coaches, they're gonna start getting canned more quickly. And they're going to give opportunities to other guys. If these coaches continue, I'm having a little bit of fun with this, but if these coaches continue to become as just willy-nilly as they are right now, and hey, they're expendable, right? If they continue to keep becoming as expendable as they are right now, you never know.
Yeah, I like the conversation you're having, but I'm just like, first of all, how would this work for circumventing salary cap purposes, right? Would the union would shut it down, being like, you can't pay him a coaching salary while also being the coach kind of situation. But I like the thought experiment. You're talking about just literally making the leap from, instead of LeBron getting his podcast co-host or Kevin Durant getting Steve Nash a head coaching job, even though he was a player development coach with the Warriors, you're saying we're taking the next leap and saying just name them the coach instead of actually naming someone else.
Right. Well, I guess what I'm saying is, yes, some player coach situations, but also what you're saying. The players have complete control of the coaching situation. The GM no longer picks the coach. The owner is not involved. It's, hey, one of you want to be a coach? Do you have somebody? It is completely on the players, because clearly that's all that ultimately matters. And these guys are going to continue to make more money. And if they're happy, if everybody keeps losing the locker room, then just hire who we know that you like. That seems like a decent business model.
I'll say this, there's a lot of sheep in the NBA. So if someone wants to try it and it is hugely successful, potentially they have found the next wave. But so far, Honestly, I think that the answer is just it's really hard to figure out who's a good coach and who's not. Like, hiring coaches is just so hard. So, like, at some point, maybe someone will just say, bleep it. We're just going to have a player essentially be named the coach in their 30s instead of waiting until they're retired. You know, like Jason Kidd, essentially. Jason Kidd got a head coaching job like immediately after he retired. What would have been the difference between him on those Mavericks teams when he was coming off the bench versus him 2 years later as the coach of the Bucks?
Yeah, I just think the value of coaches is just going down the drain. If I can't tell you, if one coach has a championship and one coach doesn't, but that doesn't necessarily mean one is better than the other, then I don't know what to do. Then I don't know how to hire this stuff, right? When we see these coaches and how long does a ring last? Right? How long, how much power does that give you? If we see a Taylor Jenkins get hired before a Nick Nurse or a Mike Budenholzer, then those rings clearly don't mean the same as what they used to mean. So that's some interesting stuff right there, man. It was quite interesting last night to watch the game. And one guy that I thought was a bit eye-opening. We're going to talk to Chris Watkins about this as well at 12. Doug McDermott, 15 minutes, 9 points. And Chris said something on social media. He said, hey, I'm not saying that Doug needs 40 minutes a game, but every time he comes in, good things seem to happen. At the very beginning, yeah, that's right. At the very beginning of the season, Doug was a little ice baby from three. And we know it's kind of tough for him to defend. So he didn't really get a lot of opportunities. But the only other times we've really seen him is in those garbage situations, and he's hit shots. So I think, especially with Keegan out, with Jake LaRavia out, Doug Christie going to Dougie McBuckets when he did, and Dougie McBuckets, I mean, his release is ridiculous. And his ability to stretch the floor. And you get a guy, again, these 1-2 game situations, you get somebody like that just happens to be hot. It's exactly like March Madness. And the other team could be saying, and it could be the Nuggets, it could be anybody saying, we're not going to the playoffs because Doug McDermott got hot. That is a very possible thing. Last season, Keon Ellis, I know Keegan obviously is known as a shooter, but last season, the Warriors were going home because Keon Ellis got hot. And now our season's over. You just never know what's going to happen. So I wanted to give a shout out to Doug McDermott playing some legit minutes last night. Devin Carter played 18 minutes as well. He had 4 points and 3 rebounds. We know how he can rebound the basketball. A couple opportunities, man, where the Kings were just one shot away from either taking the lead or tying the game. That Sabonis putback, which would have tied the game, the putback dunk that he missed, that was brutal. There was, I think, a Keon Ellis 3, and Keon had 6 of them. But it matters when you hit them. One of his 6, I think, was when the game was virtually over. Keon had a fast break 3, I think, off a steal. That would have given the Kings the lead or would have tied the game, couldn't hit it. So they were right there all game. And then towards the end, it got away from them. But you got to feel good about how they played. Zach LaVine, 27 points. Like I said, the heater was going to cool off, and it was still a pretty good game by him. Domantas Sabonis, I did not hit. I thought 20 points was easy for Domantas Sabonis. Domantas Sabonis had a bit of a tough time going back to the whole Jokic conspiracy theory about his defense that we talked to Ryan Blackburn about. A lot of people think that Jokic can play defense and just kind of chooses when and when not to. Well, Domantas Sabonis was in a tough spot last night, and he had a double-double, but that's one of those double-doubles to me where, you know, I'm not calling what Domantas Sabonis does empty calories, but that was a double-double that I don't really remember how it went down. And, you know, you could argue how much it helped the team as it pertains to, wow, a double-double. That means he was a huge help, and I don't think it came off like that. Not a bad game from Domas, but it just wasn't a great game from Domas. Trey Lyles, 17 points. I mean, Trey Lyles was the story of the game. He almost had himself a double-double, 17 points, 9 rebounds, and Really like what I'm seeing from Trey Lyles. It is going to be really fascinating. And Kyle, I know that you've been on this with Trey Lyles. I've been really tough on Trey Lyles from when I started covering the team. You know, last season he had a rough go. This season he was in and out of the lineup. Injuries have kind of derailed his post-Beam team career with the Kings. And now the Kings are in a situation where I don't want to say that they could get duped, but if you're going to get this Trey Lyles that we've seen the last 5 games or so, yeah, I'd bring that guy back. So I don't know what the Kings are going to do. Obviously, there could be other teams that are interested in Trey. So he's really doing that thing that players seem to do in their contract years where playing pretty darn well. And I went into this thinking, all right, it's time to say goodbye from Trey. He's going to move on and he's going to be off the books. And now he does some stuff like this. And you wonder, where should he fall? And should you think about bringing him back? On the other side, we bring back Christie's cuts as he breaks down the game and talks as well about the production from the bench from Doug McDermott and Devin Carter. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Friday night, Kings and Clippers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check for your wallet first before hitting the drive-thru.
$6.
Sorry, forgot my wallet. I have change, though. Here's 40 cents, another 40. Ooh, a bicentennial.
What's that?
Oh, gosh.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Smoothbrook, Illinois.
Springfest at Lowe's means can't miss savings for your home and lawn. Right now, buy 3 bags, get 3 free on Miracle Grow 3/4 cubic foot all-purpose garden soil. Plus, buy 2, get 1 free on select exterior paint and stain via mail-in rebate. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/16, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. While supplies last, selection varies by location. See rebate form for complete list of eligible products. Offer excludes clearance and mist tints and can't be combined with any other offer, promotion, discount, or coupon.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half, and if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me, and now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Spring is in the air, and there's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. Whether you're shopping for new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. And while life's roads are often filled with bumps, buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's business solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Testing.
We are live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that Smokehouse barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and our Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Have you ever dreamed of shopping for the perfect jewelry from home? Well, now it's possible, and you can even build your credit. PrestigiOJewelers.com now offers online shopping, making us the premium credit jeweler nationwide. With an exceptional selection of fine jewelry from engagement rings and gold chains to sparkling diamond earrings and much more. With over 30 years of experience, Prestigio guarantees you'll find exactly what you're looking for. It's fast and easy. Once approved, you'll receive a guaranteed credit line from $400 to $10,000. All you need is to be 18 years or older, have a valid form of ID, be employed for a minimum of 6 months, and a bank account for automatic payments. PrestigiOJewelers.com is the perfect way to establish or reestablish your credit with interest rates at only 2.25% per month. We are here to help you with monthly reporting to all major credit bureaus. The perfect jewelry, the perfect price, helping you build perfect credit. Visit us online at PrestigiOJewelers.com or at one of our locations in Sacramento, Stockton, Merced, and Fresno. Enter code SACTOWNSPORTS at checkout to save 10%.
You know the old early bird and worm thing? Well, here's an early bird special and Bonnie's lowest price of the year. Imagine an entire new HVAC system replacement, both heating and cooling, for as low as, ready? $11,789. Take advantage of that. $11,789. Hurry though, this is a limited offer and ends April 15th. The sooner you act, the sooner you save. Plumbing, electrical, heating, and air, Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
I have some information, exclusive information about Jake LaRavia. And here's the text that I received. LaRavia was working out early yesterday before the game and shot the ball well despite his wrapped thumb. That was from none other than Kevin Michael White Gleason. So the hope, with the thumb still being wrapped, the hope is that we see Jake LaRavia sooner rather than later. Still not a ton of information on Keegan Murray, but it would be nice to get at least one of those dudes back. Get one of those dudes back, get that wing defense where it needs to be, and you feel good about the Kings' chances against the Mavs. And whoever comes out of that 7-8 situation, as we mentioned earlier on, if you didn't hear, the Warriors drop a rough game. At one point, they were up 14, but it wasn't clicking for them, and they were playing obviously pretty much the same time as the Kings at home. They lose to the Harrison Barnes-led Spurs in a game that nobody expected them to lose. Harrison Barnes on a buzzer beater essentially kicks the Warriors down to the 7th seed. Now they still have an opportunity to get out of the play-in. They have to win out. So the Warriors are the 7th seed right now. Timberwolves are the 8th seed. Kings 9 seed, obviously Mavericks 10 seed. The huge game tonight, and this is you have league pass all season, whether you watch the games or not. And like myself, and I'll watch some random games talking about prop talk, but you have league pass all season long. And this game might have been bumped. I don't know if this game is national or not, but the Memphis Grizzlies are taking on the Timberwolves, and that is a huge game. The only game on Thursday that matters in the West is Minnesota at Memphis. This is
national TV. This is the last This is the last regular season game on TNT.
So all eyes on this game. A win for the Timberwolves creates a 3-way tie for the 6th seed. Golden State would have the tiebreaker. So if the Timberwolves win, Golden State would be then out of the play-in. A win for the Grizzlies pulls them even with the Clippers and Denver for the 4 seed. So this is a complete mess. But all I know is that the Grizzlies cannot win this basketball game. They cannot win this basketball game. So that's all I know there. as it will be all eyes on Minnesota and Denver tonight, seeing what happens in the West. And I think this is fun. I think and I know a lot of people can't stand whenever you make fun of the collective bargaining agreement. People complain about CJ McCollum and what was agreed to. And I get it. When you draft really well, I do think that you should be able to hold on to your guys. Don't get me wrong. So I don't love that. But I do love that I am watching Minnesota versus Memphis while I am in Pennsylvania because of how much things can change game by game. And the Spurs last night knowing how much that game matters. So that is what I do like about the current situation. All right, let's get to Christie's Cuts.
That was a tough one, but we're gonna have to lick our wounds and come back and be ready to get at it because the Clippers they're gonna be coming. Yeah.
Mike, Trey was in here talking about the resilience you guys have shown. This point in the season with just a couple games left, how important was that fourth quarter surge that you guys made just to show that you weren't just gonna roll over?
I mean, yeah. But we don't want to live off of just trying to, feel good about things. We're here to win. And that's the type of basketball that we need for 48 minutes. And allowing them to get out in transition early, 33 in the first quarter and 66 in the first half is just too many points. We've played better defense, and we must play more physical and be more consistent on the defensive end to compete against the best teams, which we have done. But it takes a full game effort. It's not something that, to your point, you can do in the fourth quarter and then you're happy about it. I'm not feeling good. Doug is he's a gravity player. You put him in the game, and we just have to understand as a team when Doug is in the game, as teammates, you need to look for him because he is a specialist. And the thing that he does that causes a lot of gravity is the gym has to come towards him, because if it doesn't, he is, where he knocks it down or not isn't really the point. The point is, he's going to get it off, and it has a really good chance of going in. Now that when you play that game, now slips come into play. Everyone's looking. You can, reject, dribble, and get downhill. There are a lot of different things that you can do. Devin has just continued to impress. You feel him when he comes in the game, and that's one of the things that I really like about him, because I'm all about making him feel us. Like, that is for me, it's a staple. Like, we need to be physical. People need to feel us and understand that that's how we're going to play on a night-to-night basis. So both of those guys really, really solid off the bench. Not bad. I mean, you say not bad, and the kid has a triple-double. He's a really special talent. When we had Keegan and Jake LaRavia, and now you add Trey to that, and Domas and Jonas, that's like, we could beat him, physically, put bodies on him. And that's really what you need to do when you play against a player like that. I mean, when he's running down the floor, you need to be touching him. When he's trying to move, you need to be pushing him. He's got to see bodies. He walks through the lane, you have to hit him. Those are the things that, I thought we did a decent job, but it was really the others early. Christian Braun had, I think, 16 points in the first half, just unacceptable. He ends the game with 25. That's more 9 and 9. He ends up with 18, but 25 with 16 in the first half is, he's a good player, but a lot of those were in the paint. And that's an area that we have to protect, that the same way that we protect our house. We must do it.
Great stuff from Doug, and you can definitely see there was a time where it felt like the moral victory thing was starting to creep up on the Kings, specifically Doug, and bringing up things that happened. And hey, we've been through a lot. I feel like the little 3-game winning streak kind of removed that. And when you show, it's like when you show a teacher what you do when you apply yourself, right? And hey, when you do your homework, you do better on quizzes and you do better on tests. So why can't I get this version of you more? So I think Doug saw that in the Kings against the Pistons and the Cavs. So a good effort against the Nuggets is now not good enough. And I think that that's exactly how Doug should be approaching this towards the end of the season. Well, for the end of the season, and we don't know how long this thing is going to go, but Malik Monk will not be with the Sacramento Kings because of that calf injury. How should the Kings approach this season and moving forward? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Friday night, Kings and Clippers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-837-5050. That's 800-837-5050. 800-837-5050.
What's going on? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's happening for the Jeep celebration event?
I'm excited about this, or should I say my wife is. 20,000 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Jeep Wagoneer S. She had a chance to drive one, and she loves it. And I've not heard from anyone who doesn't love their new Wagoneer. And we have a great selection and more on the way.
I will admit, I sat in one, and it feels very luxurious.
It's nice having such a great option to help get the family wherever they need to go. And if you're looking for something else, we have you covered there, too. People love our new certified pre-owned Supercenter with over 200 vehicles available and over 50 under $20,000.
Whatever you need, you can get it at Hoblet. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
20,000 total net savings after 14,000 factory rebates and 6,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include 7,000 CDJ federal tax credit offered by third party and subject to change without notice. Consult tax professional for eligibility. Through this net savings, sample VIN 562-884. See dealer for details.
Sacramento, get ready. The Sacktown Sports Live events calendar is packed with epic shows you won't want to miss. Classic rock bands. America takes the stage at Hard Rock Live Sacramento on May 9th. Then hip-hop legend LL Cool J brings the beats to Thunder Valley on May 10th. The Outlaw Music Festival rolls into Toyota Amphitheater on May 18th. And punk pioneers The Dam hit Ace of Spades on May 31st. June heats up with JJ Gray and Mofro at Ace of Spades on June 10th. Plus, country superstars Lee Brice and Walker Hayes at Ironstone Amphitheater on June 21st. Then it's 3 days of country fun at the Country Summer Music Festival at Sonoma County Fairgrounds on June 27th through the 29th. Get your boots ready for the Folsom Pro Rodeo July 3rd through 5th. Then catch Cody Johnson at Golden One Center on July 18th and Parker McCollum at Ironstone Amphitheater on August 16th. Mark your calendars, grab your tickets, and don't miss out. Find all the details at SacktownSports.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Since the launch of the World Handicap System, a golfer's handicap index has been automatically calculated by taking their 8 best score differentials from their most recent 20 rounds. According to Golf Monthly Newsletter, that handicap is not designed to reflect average scores, but how likely you'll play on a course of average difficulty. Handicaps are generally split into 3 different groups: low, mid, and high. A recent report by the USGA showed that the average handicap index for a male is 14.2 and 28.7 for a female. A golfer with a handicap of 1 to 9 is considered to have a low handicap. A handicap of 10 to 19 is generally thought to be a mid-handicapper, and a higher handicap golfer is 20 and above. Nearly 50% of males are mid-handicappers, with 30% carrying low handicaps, and under 20% of female golfers are in the low and mid-handicap groups. Carry your handicap proudly and play on. It's supposed to be fun. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
It's the final days of the spring sales event. Drive home your new Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at folsomlakehonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, and advanced fiber solutions, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business.
Switch today and ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying gig speed package. Offer ends 4/21/25. New customers only with a 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Good morning, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and this is your 2025 Masters Update. Tyrell Hatton has moved into the lead at 4 under through 12, while Colin Morikawa, Justin Rose, and defending champion Scotty Scheffler are all one behind him at 3 under. Coverage of the Masters is brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
11 o'clock hour, and the news isn't great when it comes to Malik Monk from Mark Spears. Kings say guard Malik Monk has been diagnosed with a left calf strain. He will be listed as out and will be reevaluated in 14 days. 14 days. So you can do that math in your head as to when the play-in is, and we know the play-in is next week. So 14 days, that's a rough go. And the Kings would have to do some winning and would have to get into the playoffs for us to see Malik Monk again. This is the second season where Malik Monk has not been around for the play-in and really the end of the season leading in to the play-in. Really tough luck there, and it's incredibly unfortunate. We whipped this up, and it's pretty interesting. Malik Monk, games missed as a King, pre-Luka flopping on his leg. 6 games out of 163. 6 games out of 163. Malik Monk games missed as a King, post Luka sitting on his leg, and it includes the rest of the season in the play-in. 30 games out of 95. 30 games out of 95. Now, I'm not going to sit here and blame Luka for Malik Monk's bad fortune, but it is interesting. It really is interesting. I mean, 6 games out of 163, that's pretty nuts.
Can we blame Luka Doncic instead?
We can blame. That's what Nico wanted to get out of there. That's why Nico said, get your fat self out of here. Go. Leave.
Take your beer and your hookah and your medical catastrophe in the next 5 years and go.
Take your beer can and get the heck out of here. Okay? You slob, you fat slob. That's what Nico Harrison said. And Malik Monk, I really do feel for him and the bad fortune that he has had. You see him on the bench, and it's really just been a rough go, and he's still giving shout-outs to Zach LaVine. He did after that Pistons game when the Kings were able to win that one. But it really makes you wonder, regardless of what DeMar DeRozan does, how do you approach this in the offseason? I don't think Malik Monk was ever, quote-unquote, untouchable, but with what happened now, and now you don't have Zach LaVine, and you see guys every night go off and become better offensive players, it's almost, if you had to ask, is it easier to find an above average offensive player or defensive player? Obviously, you'd want someone that can do a little bit of both. But is Malik Monk good enough on offense? And we know he tries his butt off on defense, but is Malik Monk good enough on offense that you would say no to maybe a different look where maybe not as good as Malik offensively, but gives you something on defense? These are going to be some tough decisions. And Malik's value, I don't know if it took a hit or not. It's still a very tradable contract. Now that you see the direction and see that you are moving forward without a De'Aaron Fox, and got to figure out what DeMar DeRozan wants to do. If DeMar DeRozan wants to stay, and you gave him that contract, so he has every right to stay, and you traded for Zach LaVine, so he has every right to stay. What we're seeing from the Kings right now, where it's Zach LaVine, DeMar, and the others, Keegan Murray takes a leap. Maybe, hopefully. Keon Ellis takes a leap. Maybe, hopefully. Sharp shooters around them. I still think you need some type of a slasher, but you can find that with somebody who's also more of a traditional point guard. So I don't think that Malik Monk was ever untouchable. I think that all of these guys are a level of expendable, but getting injured twice, and obviously injuries are not anybody's fault, but getting injured, the illness and the bad timing, I don't know how much you can go into next season assuming, yeah, we feel really comfortable. On top of the fact that he hadn't been playing well, now is it the chicken or the egg? He hadn't been playing, period, versus hadn't been playing well. He had the illness situation. But I don't know if it's a contract you need to get off of, but is it a contract that maybe you kind of want to get off of, which is a crazy statement, but bad luck is bad luck sometimes.
Or is Malik Monk the guy who inevitably gets moved to make the roster construction make more sense, right?
Well,
because
yes, it's all connected, because he hasn't, like I said, that's part of, well, you haven't been available, and when you have been available, it hasn't worked.
Well, this is the interesting thing for me, is that they knew it didn't make sense. That's why they were talking about Malik playing point guard at the beginning, right? And in my personal opinion, I think we have enough of a representative sample to say Malik Monk as a point guard is not going to work. So at that point, do you move him back to that? You know, there's essentially 3 shooting guards. Do you move him back to that bench role like he had been in before he got hurt? And if so, are you a good enough team with that guy making $20 million per year to come off the bench and give you what, right? Those are the questions that they're going to have to ask themselves. But again, if DeMar DeRozan decides, hey, thank you guys, glad we had this experience, I think I should probably go somewhere else, then at that point, that opens the door for Malik to move back into the starting lineup. So I think those are the interesting questions they've got to ask themselves based on how this offseason is going to play out, assuming this is the last we've seen of Malik Monk this year.
Right. And they'd have to win some games in order for, 14 days. That's when he's going to be reevaluated. We're talking about the first round here. So next week, that's when all of the play and stuff is going to get figured out. So
14 days from today would be a theoretical Game 3 against Oklahoma City.
And that's to be reevaluated. That is to be reevaluated.
Which, in fairness, Sabonis said it was going to be a reevaluation in 10 days, and he only missed like 6.
Yeah. The Sabonis is built different, though. I don't know that I would I would use him as a measuring stick for this stuff. The chat line, the SAC chat says, you can't fault Malik for injuries. Why get rid of him? You're talking about messing with the team chemistry. Can the team have some stability? Well, a team can have stability, but again, you're talking about a team that is the 9 seed. So a team, the question of stability is interesting when a team isn't that good, right? And you do know that it's a wing-driven league. And my issue with keeping Malik and DeMar DeRozan, if DeMar DeRozan wants to get on out of here, then Malik Monk is going to stay, right? I think there would still be a conversation, but I don't know if you're going to find that type of scoring or why you would necessarily feel like you need to move Malik if DeMar DeRozan wants to get out of here. If DeMar DeRozan doesn't want to get out of here, so you've moved Malik to the bench, and even on the bench, it hasn't looked great. And now, regardless of whether injuries are your fault or not, now it's becoming a situation where he can't really stay on the court. So that's my issue. If you want to keep Malik, if DeMar DeRozan says, "Hey, I'm out of here," then I completely understand that, because Malik is still a heck of a scorer. If DeMar wants to stay, and you're looking at what the team actually needs, the problem that I have is that I haven't seen Malik excel in the 6-man role on this team. I have not seen that yet. I can assume that he will because he did in the past, but that was on a different team. So you have to start prioritizing what is it that this team needs. Does this team need a Malik Monk that you hope gets back to their 6-man of the year type production? Or does this team need, if Jake LaRavia walks, and again, Malik on a really good contract, or does this team need a point guard and a wing that you could maybe get both secondary guys, but maybe get both on that Malik Monk contract? It is what it is. So, the stability question, that's all fine and good. But what we've learned this season is that stability is not at the top of a lot of teams' priority list. You have to win basketball games. And I'm not saying to move them. I've obviously been on record saying Malik is my favorite King on the team. But you've no longer been in the starting lineup. And this is the second go-round where a lot of this could be saved if there were these crazy postseason performances, and he hasn't been healthy. So that's not his fault, but has not been healthy. And that shit is what it is. On the other side, we keep the conversation going. We also have a surprise for you for all of the Sacramento baseball fans out there, but I'm not talking A's. So we have a surprise coming for you in the 11 o'clock hour, and we will get to that as well. And I do want to ask the question, has this season made the Kings look any less dysfunctional? Crazy statement, I know, but is it? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Friday night, Kings and Clippers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
What if your business could see beyond what is into what can be?
What if you could create more impact in every decision? What if you had a partner as visionary as you are? With Bank of America, you get access to our trusted experts, real-time insights, and digital tools. So whether you run a local shop or a global enterprise, you're backed by business solutions to make every move matter. What would you like the power to do? Find out how at bankofamerica.com/banking for business. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
DeRozan in the lane, kicks to the corner. Valanciunas wide open. He'll shoot the three. Short. Jokic has it. Gives it ahead to Watson. He drives, Euros, fouled, scores. Well, that sequence right there kind of summarizes the whole night in a sense for the Kings, and that's just really frustrating.
You're home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Where do the Kings go next? The win streak is over, but they still have some postseason hopes as they will have an opportunity against the Mavs. We still don't know. Doing that math or trying to do that math during the break. 2 games left. The Kings are 1 game up on the Mavericks. So the Mavericks have the Raptors tomorrow. So you would think that they win that game. If they win, or if they beat the Mavericks and the Kings lose to the Clippers, then things get a little bit dicey. And Kyle, just a reminder on who has the tiebreaker there. I feel like it's the Kings. So wouldn't the Kings have to lose both and the Mavericks would have to win both to be the 10 seed? Or
yes,
So
because the Kings went 3-0 against the Mavericks, the way that they would win, the only way it can switch now is Dallas wins both of their last 2 games against Toronto at home and at Memphis, and the Kings lose both games to the Clippers and the Suns. That's the only scenario where 10-9 would go to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
With Phoenix losing last night, it's going to be Kings Mavericks no matter what.
There you go. So continuing to break down that future and also the future of the Kings. I think right now, to be completely honest, the win streak gave a little bit of hope and a little bit of spunk to things. But here we are on a Thursday, and the Kings just lost to Denver again, 0-4 against Denver. We know kind of what it is. Fans out there feel how they're going to feel about the Kings and about the future of the Kings. And I know all of you will be watching the play-in, even if you wanted to pick, because they're in the play-in now anyway, and now we can just hope for the best. But as we look around at what some of the other teams have done, the Kings have been one-upped in the dysfunctional category, no? I mean, you traded Luka Doncic. Now, these are 2 separate teams doing things, don't get me wrong, but both of those moves, I would say, or the moves that we're going to bring up here, probably outweigh what the Kings did. So we go back to that Sam Amick article and everything that he wrote, from the ownership situation and who Vivek is talking to and who is in his ear and who is representing and who is making decisions for the team, to the moves that may or may not have been made. But then you start looking around the rest of the league and you think, well, everybody was getting on the Kings for the changes that they made and getting rid of Mike Brown, but Mike Malone is a champion. And it's 5 days before the playoffs. Taylor Jenkins has had a lot of success with the Grizzlies, with that team specifically, young team. And the one thing that we never really heard, to be fair, the Mike Malone thing, and you said this yesterday, Kyle, the Mike Malone thing kind of maybe makes more sense just based on the fallback that we're hearing from Jokic and certain other players and the articles. The Grizzlies thing, there still was really no answer, just they couldn't beat good teams. So they got him out of there. So they got one up there with Mike Brown, who, hey, he had a good run. Don't get us wrong, but he got into the playoffs, didn't win a series, right? And they lose that game 7 in kind of a heartbreaking fashion. Next season, you miss the playoffs. You're in the play-in. You lose to the same team 6 times. You lost to some really bad teams that you had no business losing to, which puts you in that position. Then you lose to the Pelicans with no Zion on national television, where everybody picked the Kings to win that game, even though you beat the Warriors, and that was a feel-good thing. We get that. And then the next season, you get DeMar DeRozan, the ownership, general manager. Everybody feels like the team is better. You're off to a rough start. So they move on from him. That got one-upped multiple times by Taylor Jenkins being fired. And, of course, Mike Malone, who's a champ. You have the GM situation, the Nuggets moving on for their GM, where you have the Kings and Wes Wilcox deciding, hey, Allen, I'll see you at the Chipotle out there in Utah. I'm going to get on out of here. And you have the situations that we've seen with the players. And De'Aaron Fox, moving on from De'Aaron Fox. Luka being traded as well. Obviously, everybody would agree that moving on from Luka is crazier than moving on from De'Aaron Fox. So I'm not trying to let anybody off the hook, but my question is now, does that make the Kings look less dysfunctional? Now, there are the news conferences that happened, and nobody else, I don't think, was fired in a car, right, or over the phone on the way to the airport, things like that. We get that. But based on the actual moves, not to say that the Kings are now not dysfunctional, but maybe dysfunction is more rampant around the NBA than we think. And does it make you feel a little less annoyed or a little better, dare I say, about the Kings, hoping that things get fixed moving forward? But you had a top 5 player in the league get traded. You had, I think most people would say Mike Malone is a top 7 coach in the NBA, get fired. And you had a GM from a team who recently won a championship get fired too. I know it technically wasn't what he built, but same idea. So are we just headed towards there's a reason there's a meme about there have been 0 days with the NBA being unnecessarily dramatic. And I'm not trying to give the Kings a pass, but I'm looking here, seeing what other teams are doing, thinking maybe the NBA is just a mess in general. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean, it still makes the Kings look dysfunctional. I will say that for the reasons you mentioned.
They're not. I'm not saying that they're not.
The press conference thing definitely makes sense. The decisions late in the season versus the Kings doing it 31 games into the season, I get that. Because the Nuggets don't seem dysfunctional to me. Like the decision seems like they had a clear-cut vision of what they wanted, and they made that call. So it doesn't seem dysfunctional. It seemed like they were functioning despite their differences for much of the last 2 seasons. And I know that that's kind of a fine line sometimes, but it doesn't make the Kings seem less dysfunctional. It just makes the Kings not seem like, I'm not trying to say less relevant, but like there's levels to this, right? There's firing your coach and trading your best player in the middle of the season like the Kings, and then there's trading an all-NBA player or firing the coach that the 4-time league MVP has had for the last 10 years of his career.
Yeah. So it just made me think, hey, is this as bad as we think? And obviously, you've had a parade and maybe it's not what you do, it's how you do it and the decisions that you make that follow it. And seems like the Grizzlies also had a path, but dare I say, not that they did it the perfect way, but we know it has come out that Doug Christie has been an investment. They have invested in Doug Christie. So maybe they also had a vision. And going into that, knowing that they were going to move on. Look, there's one thing. Here's the thing, and we got to finish on the other side. But just because a vision doesn't make a ton of sense doesn't mean they didn't have a vision. Those are two different arguments. If the Sacramento Kings knew that they really liked Doug Christie, he's made it on multiple coaching staffs, right? If they knew they liked Doug Christie and they knew that moving on from Mike Brown would lead to moving on from De'Aaron Fox, and we know that it is on record that they've always liked Zach LaVine, just because we don't like the plan doesn't mean that they didn't have one. Now, how they executed it may make us feel some type of way, and you might not be that high on Zach LaVine, but it's very possible they had a plan, and the plan maybe was just not that good. We'll see. It looked pretty good the last couple days. So maybe they did have a plan. It just was a plan that a lot of us didn't agree with, and how they went about it, the press conference or lack thereof, things like that kind of made it look like we didn't know what was happening. But it's very possible that the same way you say that the Nuggets had a plan and the Grizzlies had a plan, the Kings feels like they may have had a plan too, whether we agreed with it or not. Let's keep this conversation rolling. Also, like we said, I have a deep connection with the River Cats now, and they have launched something that we are really excited about. They gave us a VIP package and an exclusive look at something that they're doing, and I am directly connected to it as well. We will tell you what that is, and better yet, we will show you what that is when we return. More Kings talk as well. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Friday night, Kings and Clippers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Want internet with more speed and less frustration? Fidium Fiber internet is better because it's built to deliver more bandwidth and speeds up to 2 gigs. Switch today and you can kiss buffering and weak Wi-Fi goodbye. Visit fidiumfiber.com.
Spring is here, and that means gigantic savings for all your oil change needs at Jiffy Lube today. Get a $25 gift card with the purchase of any Pennzoil Platinum full synthetic oil change through May 31st at your local Jiffy Lube service center in the greater Sacramento areas. And don't forget about the additional $30 off online coupon at jiffylube.com. Terms apply. Valid email address required. See pennzoil.com/rewards for details. Jiffy Lube, a huge spring savings for you today.
Save $12,000 off MSRP on new 2025 Silverado 1500 LT at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter after all rebates.
And Maida Chevy still has one of the largest selections in the Sacramento area.
With $12,000 off new Silverado exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
550 savings must trade in 2011 or newer. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Made a great deal at Maida.
Come check out Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with the most variety of table games in the region in a safe and friendly environment. Plenty of well-lit parking available, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. And remember, Capital Casino has the best food, the best service, and the best action. 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com, and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
The hot weather is coming. Is your HVAC system ready for it? Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating make sure it is. Get to Lee'sAirPlumbingandHeating.com. Check out their $99 HVAC tune-up special. And let me tell you why Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating is the way to go. They took care of me when our heater collapsed over the winter, and Lee's set us up with a great new HVAC system that is providing comfort, value, and quality. Let Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating take care of you. License number 635355.
Spring is in the air, and there's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. Whether you're shopping for new or pre-owned, Stockton Honda has the selection and savings. Plus, get top dollar for your trade. And while life's roads are often filled with bumps, buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there. Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Are you ready to unlock your business's potential? Hey, I'm Allen Stiles, and you can do that with Roxas Technology Solutions. Their mission is to empower growth through cutting-edge, reliable, and scalable technology. They tailor solutions to enhance efficiency and foster innovation, ensuring your business thrives in the digital age. Located in Sacramento, their dedicated team is ready to partner with you for your long-term success. Transform your business now. Go to roxtech.com. That's WROXTECH.com. Rox Tech. Tomorrow's technology at your fingertips today.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Rox Tech, Michelob Ultra, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. More info at CITPFest.com.
Are you tired of your tee shots ending up in the adjoining fairway while the rest of your foursome is hitting it down the middle? Well, experts will tell you that being properly fitted for golf clubs will help you strike your drive center cut. The Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio and its team of trained PGA professionals are ready to help you get rid of your banana balls and duck hooks. Hagen Oaks Indoor-Outdoor Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Well. We have something to announce here. It's been announced through their social media, but we wanted to announce it on these airwaves as well. A lot of people are aware that I'm working with the River Cats this season and moving forward as one of the in-game MCs. And they're doing a lot, man. And I'm really excited about this because this merch is sick. And what they unveiled today is their alternate identity. Okay. And their alternate identity that Kyle is rocking right now, the Sacramento Gold Diggers. Go check out their video on Instagram, and it's on social media, on Twitter as well. The Sacramento Gold Diggers is their alternate identity. You have gold pinstripes. I've never seen a jersey like this before. You got bling as well, going back to Sacramento's roots, looking for gold and where you can still find it right there at Sutter Health Park. So really excited. And one thing I didn't know, I was watching the video myself, and at the end of the video, it says, we will unveil these. It all starts April 19th. So I go to my manager's email to double check because April 19th seemed like a familiar date. And it turns out I will be emceeing that game as the Gold Diggers take the field. So I'm also working on getting a jersey myself, but you can check out all that merch online, SacramentoRiverCats.com. Go to MILB.com to get there as well. There'll be even more merch on April 19th. So go check all that out. Kyle, gold looks good on you. I gotta tell you.
I have never looked cooler in my entire life. Let me just tell everybody that right now.
I don't think you need to tell us. I think we would know that. I think we would assume that.
If you're driving in the car right now, this is a visual joke, so you might want to pull over, check out the YouTube real quick, because I am rocking the Sacramento Gold Diggers jersey, hat. They set us up with a chain with this mascot, which I think is a what would you call this, Alan? I'm gonna take it off real quick and hold it up to the camera.
Guess he would be a 49er, right?
Yeah, like a gold miner type of person or something.
He's a gold digger.
Yeah, but he's got the little hat on it, and the hat has a baseball.
Yeah, it's nicely done. And go check out the video. That's all my stuff when I get back, by the way. So I'm glad you're enjoying wearing it now, Kyle. So thanks to the River Cats for sending that stuff over and making Kyle look like the cool kid that he truly, truly is.
I mean, you can get more of this stuff though, right? Like they send it to the studio, but like you work for the team, you can get this stuff anytime you want.
I'm working on it. So great stuff. April 19th, that's where you can check it out. And I would assume by that time the weather will start to be even warmer as we get closer and closer to the summertime. So thank you very much, Kyle, our in studio model, and great stuff from all of our friends over at the River Cats. I will be back out there doing my thing next Thursday. And I'm doing it all the way, by the way, just since we're already there. I'll be working Easter Sunday as well. So you go out to the ballpark after church, whatever the case may be, before your brunch, after your brunch, whatever it is, I will be out there on Easter. And I heard that Easter game is a lot of fun. So thanks for that, Kyle, and great stuff there as we continue to break down everything that's been going on with the Sacramento Kings and some of the dysfunction that we've seen from them. I would say this: if you were to vote, if there was a vote on the level of dysfunction, who had the most dysfunctional season? Okay. I do not think, and it is all thanks to Dallas, I do not think that the Kings would be number one. In a season where they got rid of their coach and their best player, I do not think that the Kings would come in at number one. And the argument is, do they come in at number two or not? Because you would obviously put Dallas at number one. You would, after that, it becomes, is it the Kings? Is it the Grizzlies? Is it the Denver Nuggets? Nobody's going to put the Nuggets because, like you said, Kyle, everybody's going to give the Nuggets the benefit of the doubt. If Jokic was on board with this, if this thing had been brewing, I think you could make the argument, going back to what we heard, that Mike Malone almost got fired the year that they won the championship, but then they won the championship. So couldn't you make the argument that you are now saying that the Nuggets had a plan, but didn't they wait a little too long for the plan? Couldn't you say that you let it go a little too long? Now, I know winning a championship changed things, but I'm not going to let it slide, Kyle. I feel like it's really close between Denver and the Kings at number two. And I don't know what to do with the Grizzlies. They just got rid of their coach. So I feel like the Grizzlies are probably number four. But I'm struggling with who's number two between the Kings and the Nuggets. Because I hear what you're saying. What I just laid out, that the Kings had a plan, it just maybe wasn't a plan that most of us liked.
Go
ahead.
So this is just this season, like, moves, right? Because there were dysfunctional organizations coming into the year, right? Like the Bulls didn't come out of this looking great, just giving away Zach LaVine for nothing.
But no one's going to bring them up because they won games and Josh Giddey took a leap.
Yeah. I'd say your assessment is correct, because what is our slogan been all season? The Sacramento Kings, at least we're not Dallas.
Yeah.
Right? That's kind of been our whole thing. So I think whatever you want to put Denver in or Memphis is its own evaluation. But I think the underlining point of tier one is Dallas and probably Phoenix, honestly. But let's just say Dallas. And then Phoenix Sacramento is
there. Yeah.
I mean, Phoenix has got to be worse than Sacramento just in terms of what yes, the Kings did not get enough for De'Aaron Fox, and that's a hard thing to say given that they already knew and we were expecting they were only going to get 70 cents on the dollar for De'Aaron Fox. But at the same time, at least they didn't do the Bradley Beal trade, which has essentially set that organization back multiple years and is preventing them from doing any sort of moves beyond that. So
yeah,
I would say whatever Denver and Memphis, besides the point, I'd say that the Kings are in like a tier 2 of dysfunction, and then only in a world where Dallas and to a certain extent Phoenix exist do the Kings look better because of the moves they've made, because they're in the exact same position they were in last year.
Nowhere to go but up. Nowhere to go but up. Great stuff from Gold Digger Kyle and great stuff from the Sacramento River Cats. That is some nice swag there. You can go check it all out, SacramentoRiverCats.com. And April 19th, I'll be in the building. You should be in the building as we will be rocking that gold. Maybe I'll get a grill. Maybe I'll get a grill too as well for that game. When we return, pocket watching, is there some gold in your pockets? Should we be thanking Harrison Barnes or should we be yelling at Harrison Barnes? Well, that depends if you want to see the Warriors part 3 in the postseason. Allen Stiles, Sackdown Sports.
All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Friday night, Kings and Clippers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to VaxAssist.com and schedule today. That's VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
It's the final days of the spring sales event. Drive home your new Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Allen Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. After Tommy John surgery in May 2024, Ken Waldichuk began a bullpen progression on March 4th. He continued to throw off the mound and remains in line for a potential return to the major leagues around June. Zach Geloff got his cast removed from his hand fracture and has started light workouts. A 4 to 6 week timeline is about the standard for such injuries, but Zach Geloff hopes to be back sooner. On the court, Devin Carter has been listed as day-to-day with a shoulder contusion and will be listed as questionable for the time being. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hi, I'm Allen Stiles. Injured at work? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they've won over $500 million in settlements. Downtown LA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't want to see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now. No more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-848-1331. That's 800-848-1331.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Looking for fun for the whole family? Sacramento Rivercats Baseball has it all at Sutter Health Park. Enjoy exciting baseball, kids' activities, tasty ballpark treats, and more. Family memories start here. Get your Rivercats baseball tickets at rivercats.com.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Back to the conversation before we do a little bit of pocket watching. I thought this was an interesting statement on the text line, 916-339-1140. 916 says, just because other teams are dysfunctional as well doesn't take away the fact that the Kings are probably at the very top of the list or close. Yeah, the fact that they're still there, trust me, I want them to not be in that conversation. But I think that the fact that the list continues to grow also says something about the league. You know, you never see, I would say maybe when the Celtics had Kyrie, there was a level of dysfunction. The Brad Stevens situation, as Brad Stevens didn't win enough with the Celtics as a coach, and they move him to the front office. Of course, stuff like that works out. The Lake will find themselves in dysfunctional conversations as well, and that kind of follows LeBron where he goes. So it is at the very least, I just thought it was a conversation that would maybe make it would put things into perspective. Right. The example that I used in the first hour with the relationships and how that couple that you think is just relationship goals, and then you find out that they've been having issue. And that's what the Denver Nuggets kind of showed us out here in Sacramento, where we have put the Denver Nuggets on this pedestal. And they could find themselves after all that, sounding like Karl Anthony Towns, after all that, they could find themselves in the play-in, slumming it with the Sacramento Kings. Same with the Warriors, we thought they were done with the play-in. They got Jimmy Butler. We were never going to see them again. Well, the problem that happened was that all these teams won games at the same time. You know, the Kings said, you know what, we don't want to bother fighting with y'all. We'll just see y'all in the play-in. We got to get healthy one way or there. But 3 through 8 is a complete nightmare. And the Warriors did the one thing that they couldn't do. And Kyle, I think we have that sound from Harrison Barnes on that 3. So
Steph Castle to Harrison Barnes. Outside the arc on the left side, will throw up a 3 left wing. That shot is good. Harrison Barnes nails the left wing 3 at the buzzer. And the Spurs have come back and taken care of business against the Golden State Warriors. A game-winning shot in the left wing by Harrison Barnes. And the Spurs win it over the Golden State Warriors. The final score from San Francisco, San Antonio 114, Golden State 111.
And I'll say this. when you look at what Harrison Barnes did, I know a lot of people are thinking, where was this a couple years ago? Essentially the same shot against the same team. But you got to move on from that. It is what it is. Now Harrison Barnes, as Kyle wrote it in the rundown, says, thank you, Harrison Barnes. I don't really know why we're in Harrison Barnes, because I don't want the Warriors in the play. That was not part of my vision. That was not what I wanted. And the Warriors now, we all need the Grizzlies to lose. We all need the Grizzlies to lose. If the Grizzlies win, this thing gets real sticky. Real sticky.
Well, we only want the Grizzlies to win if we're dead set on we need to play Memphis in the play-in, correct?
No, we need the Grizzlies. If the Grizzlies win,
the Grizzlies to lose.
Yeah. Yes, and that's just me. That's just me personally. Some people might rather see the Warriors or see the Nuggets or whoever. I want the Grizzlies in the play-in. And you know what? What somebody else said, I think it might have been yesterday on the text line. What about this, though? What if the argument was, hey, well, if you're that confident in the Nuggets or Warriors, wouldn't you want the Nuggets or the Warriors at 7 to make sure that they beat the Grizzlies, and then you would get your Grizzlies-Kings matchup, which I do like that thought process as well, but you get a weird Desmond Bain 40-burger or Jaren Jackson Jr.'s and his weird three-pointer goes in, and they get hot, and now the Nuggets have another opportunity. All these teams, when they have two opportunities, they just view it a little bit differently. So I understand why people were sending me that and the thought process there, because the Timberwolves, the Grizzlies could probably beat the Timberwolves, and it's gonna be a heck of a game tonight. But if the Timberwolves beat the Grizzlies, or if the Grizzlies beat the Timberwolves, then you'd have to face the Timberwolves, and I wouldn't love that. I love that more than facing the Nuggets or the Warriors, but I hear that thought process as well.
Well, it's such a weird situation right now, right? Because if you're rooting to play the Timberwolves, you're then rooting for Minnesota to lose tonight because they play the Nets and the Jazz the last two games of the season. Mm-hmm. So if Minnesota, I called it tonight's like a play-in to the play-in almost, right? Like if Minnesota or Memphis wins, it dramatically increases the chance that they will be a top 6 seed. Right. But the loser then is in danger zone territory for the play-in. And this would have been more the case had the Warriors lost. The Warriors losing kind of makes the whole thing bizarre because the Warriors probably their play-in game is going to come down to playing the Clippers. But then if the Kings beat the Clippers tomorrow, then the Clippers are worried about playing the play-in. So I guess my kind of thought is it's too hard to guess who's going to end up in the play-in and who's not, or who's going to be the 7 or who's going to be the 8. It's just hard to pick your opponent in these scenarios because there's so many different weird situations that could happen. Like, for example, Harrison Barnes hitting a buzzer-beating three-pointer for the lowly Spurs to beat the Warriors at home in the game that we all chalked up as the easy win on the schedule for the Warriors.
Right. And I think that's the big takeaway, that we truly don't know how this thing is going to go. We can look at this schedule and say, well, the Timberwolves are obviously going to beat the Jazz, right? And then you never know what could happen. I do feel like the Nets and the Jazz are probably the two safest teams. And the Raptors, right? The Raptors, where you don't think that could happen, but the Spurs would have been right behind them. And, the Spurs, just kind of a level of disrespect. The thing about the Spurs is they've essentially been playing with who they had last season, just minus Wembanyama. So there's a level of, hey, we weren't good last season, but we did play together last season. The Jazz, I don't even know who in the hell plays for the Jazz right now. And the Nets, I guess I don't really know who plays for the Nets either. So the Spurs, maybe, obviously Harrison Barnes and his familiarity with the Warriors, is that something we can worry about? I still don't see the Timberwolves losing to the Nets or the Jazz. And I don't see the Raiders winning either. So it's going to be tough. All eyes are on night with the Grizzlies taking on the Timberwolves. And I'm trying to keep my vision clear, Kyle, but these games are really, really starting to.
The visions are clear now.
I really hope they remain clear, and we're going to know a lot more after tonight's game against the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves. Chris Watkins joins us on the other side to break down what happened in Sacramento last night, how the energy was in the thing, and where does he feel the dysfunctional level is with the Kings compared to these other teams. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Friday night, Kings and Clipperds. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Get 5 quarts of O'Reilly Full Synthetic Motor Oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $29.99. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Progressive knows if you have to choose between everyday life and your RV wins.
What, are you going to take the RV to the lake or clean out your closet?
RV wins!
Putting the dishes away or taking the RV camping?
RV wins!
Cleaning the fridge or taking a trip to the beach?
RV wins!
You might want to clean the fridge real quick because, mold.
We clean out the fridge, then take the RV out.
With Progressive, you can bundle your RV with your home or auto and save with a discount and spend more time enjoying those savings in your RV. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states and situations.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Spring has sprung, and now is the best time to spruce up your home. Between spring cleaning and evaluating your home, it is the perfect time to reach out to the folks at the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento. Jason Ross here, and I'm so glad we did. We reached out, and we're now about a month in to our brand new garage doors. Now, first off, we improved our curb appeal. They look great, and it's one of the first things people notice when they approach your home. A new, modern, stylish garage door can improve the overall appearance of your home, just like it did for us. Also, how about this for a nice benefit? The return of investment. A new garage door is high on the return of investment home improvement project list. It's one of the more cost-effective upgrades you can make to improve your home's value. Hey, see for yourself. Check out their products. Go to the showroom at 6756 Franklin Boulevard and ask about the Sacktown Sports Special. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Lowe's knows that your business is built on speed and trust. That's why the Lowe's Pro Desk is here to get you what you need the moment you need it. We'll help you plan your project, calculate your materials, and pivot when your job takes an unexpected turn. And with our pro-only checkout and dedicated pro parking, you have what you need to tackle your job and be back on the job in no time. Just visit us at the Pro Desk. Lowe's knows pros. We help. You save.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why, when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away, so the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Rox Tech, Michelob Ultra, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. More info at CITPFest.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. My name is Kyle Ledbetter, and this is your Masters 2025 update. Justin Rose is in first place at 5 under through 9 holes. Corey Connors has moved into second place at 4 under, along with defending champion Scotty Scheffler at 4 under. Coverage of the Masters is brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
We are back. Clock hour, Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports. We are joined by one Chris Watkins. Chris, so much for joining us, my guy. How you doing?
Anytime, man. Anytime. I'm doing well. Fresh off yesterday's doubleheader was a fun day in Sacramento. Kind of funny, I guess. Funny in a weird way that both teams end up losing, the A's and the Kings, last night. But it was definitely fun to just kind of do the thing. Have the experience of going out to Sutter Health Park, and then there was a bit of traffic on the way from Sutter Health to Golden One. It took me probably like 35 to 40 minutes just to go like 2 miles, but it was cool. It was really cool to just see the city out like that, and especially for a 12:30 first pitch. That was it was just a really cool day yesterday, and it was like 82 degrees, bro. Like the second you leave, all of a sudden the weather just gets perfect.
And it's terrible out here, so I mean it's like rainy. 30 degrees, so it's pretty brutal. Chris, did you go on the day that the A's won?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay. Well, I want to bring you in here because we never got to talk about this. I guess there was some stomper situation where
Stompergate.
Stomp the button.
Yeah, stomp the button afterwards, so after they won, first of all, they played California Love, which was not Celebration by Kool and the Gang, which is what they used to do at the Coliseum. But then they did this weird thing where they panned to the two MCs and Stomper, the mascot, and they had a button on the floor, and they were like, get ready to stomp the button. And it was like 3, 2, 1, and then he stomped on it, and then nothing happened. And we were so confused because we thought like maybe it would light the Tower Bridge, maybe it would do something on the scoreboard. It just nothing happened, and then there was
we don't know what was supposed to happen.
It was like 5 seconds of just an awkward pause, and then they just took him off the scoreboard, and it was like Athletics win, and we were all so confused.
Yeah, okay. I can give you a little bit of clarity on that. Yeah, from what I understand. I guess it is supposed to be in the same vein as a light the beam thing, and from my understanding, I don't know if it's like 100% confirmed, but Stomper was supposed to stomp, I guess, on the button, and then to my understanding, fireworks were supposed to go off and/or some sort of pyrotechnics along with it, and so that clearly didn't fire. But that's not the only. Like, I mean, Kyle, I don't know if you were there on for the national anthem on Monday,
Yes.
but I think Whitey talked about it a little bit, where they had a singer. Her name is Kristen, I believe. Shout out Kristen. She is a wonderful singer. I've heard her sing before. She was on The Voice, but the Sutter Health Park crowd did not get to hear her sing because they passed her the mic, nothing. Give her another mic, nothing, and then about 10 or so seconds of silence, and then they just kind of pump in like the like a terrible, sounding like you downloaded it off LimeWire national anthem.
So that to me, nightmare, because those are the same mics that we use. And I am in the control room. I pick up the mic. The mics are charged. And I walk around with two mics in case something like this happens, in case one dies. So clearly, I don't know if it was working MCs and then just decided to crap out or whatever. But that is a rough go.
Yeah, so I got to the bottom of that one as well. Shout out RJ. We all know RJ. He does the engineering for Kings games and for A's games as well. RJ was telling me that it was as simple as somebody had unplugged the receiver for those wireless mics, and so it was literally as simple as somebody had pulled the plug on it. So.
Wow.
Sometimes it could be incredibly frustrating trying to unplug and plug in everything. And then sometimes it's literally just as simple as, did anybody check if the power's on? So
yeah,
they're working through it. They're working through it.
Just leave it. It's like, I'm talking to baby Styles. Just leave it. Just leave it. It just doesn't need to be touched right now.
Nope.
Chris, a lot of people kind of want to pull the plug on the Kings, but the
transition,
but they won 3 straight before losing to the Nuggets last night.
Yeah.
How did you feel after the 3-game win streak? Did it make you feel any different? I know you've kind of been pretty firm in your thoughts on who the Kings are this season, but did it move you at all, that 3-game winning streak?
Not me personally. I think this team is very obvious who they are. They're very inconsistent. They've shown some highs for sure. They've beaten Cleveland. They beat Boston on the road. Everyone will point at that. But they've also lost to Washington, and they've had multiple ups and downs throughout this stretch under Doug Christie, where it's looked like the season is completely done. And then we've kind of seen here recently, it looks like maybe he got the locker room back together, or they're still showing some fight, which is great. It could definitely go the opposite way. You see Phoenix, they've just completely laid down. They do not care. They're 1-2-3 Cancun all the way. I will say and give this team credit. They have not laid down. They have not given up on this season. I know they don't want to be in the play-in, but they definitely have shown that they understand that even though they have faltered throughout this year, there was still an opportunity to get something, salvage something from this season. And I'm just kind of dressing it up, Alan, because I just don't really feel differently about this team. It's great that they got those 3 wins, but I can't change my whole perception on this team. And I know you can maybe make the argument they're getting more games together. Maybe you're seeing, a lot of people pointed out it looks like Levine and Sabonis have kind of worked out some sort of connection or chemistry on the floor. I just don't think it's enough. And, frankly, I just kind of think that the competition that's ahead of them, I think they can get through the play-in, no doubt. It's not, they're going to get a home play-in game against a Dallas team that they've swept this season. Who knows who they're going to face in the second game. Right. I saw Brendan keeps trying to push. He's trying to hurt me, man. He keeps trying to push that we can play the Warriors in that play-in game as well. I just can't. I will not resign myself to even go there. But they can beat the Timberwolves. They can beat the Memphis Grizzlies. There's a lot of winnable games or matchups, I should say, in the play-in that I think this team can take care of, because we've seen, especially if the play-in game comes down to a fourth quarter, we've seen some big fourth quarter collapses, but we also know that DeMar and Zach LaVine have shown that they can turn it on. And if you're going to go bucket for bucket with them, good luck. Not a lot of teams can do that. So in a weird way, I think that they're positioned pretty well to at least be competitive in the play-in. We'll see what happens in terms of the results, but I mean, we've said it all year. Like, what is the benefit of going into that OKC series? And, I think, frankly, at best, like, I don't see how you do it, but could you win 2 games of that series? I think that's probably the way of feeling the best coming out of it. But, I won't say it does more damage than good, but I do think that there's some people out there who say, like, oh, just make the playoffs. Like, it's the playoffs. It's great. It's better than staying at home. I just don't necessarily know if that's true. Like, I think if you play more games, sometimes that can really, really, especially in the playoffs, those can really reveal some warts that you might have not seen. And granted, information is good. You can make your team better moving forward. But I think that there's a chance, like, if you, worst case scenario, you just embarrass yourself in those 4 games, it might be a situation where everyone's like, man, like, yeah, we salvaged the season, but this has the worst taste in our mouth leaving the year. And again, I think there's a world in which it does more damage than good.
Are you worried that the end of the season could lead ownership and Monty McNair? Well, number one, ownership leading to keeping Monty McNair. And in addition to that, feeling good to get back to the, hey, well, if Keegan doesn't go down, if Malik doesn't go down, if this or that doesn't happen, long story short, we're going to run it back. Are you worried that if they had missed the play-in, you can't deny any of that, but are you worried that you beat the Pistons? Hey, well, we beat the Pistons and the Cavs, and, we snuck into the playoffs, or we took the Timberwolves to the very last minute and we didn't have Malik? Are you worried that the success that they're having could lead to the Kings running it back?
Frankly, yeah. Like, yeah, I am. And, maybe, I guess you could say from like a fan perspective, that's probably a terrible mindset to have, but I do frankly think, again, like, I think you can do more harm than good in some of these situations. And, I kind of clearly think if this team is focused on getting the best possible picture moving forward, like, how can we possibly maybe get this team finally to a championship level? Like, I think we won't say they need to blow it up, but like, they kind of do need, I think, a little bit of a reset. Like, I think bringing back DeMar next season would be a mistake. I think you should at least see what Domantas Sabonis wants to do. Like, I've kind of been more so of the thought process that I don't care necessarily if they are better next year, but I hope that there's just something better I can sell myself on. Like, I kind of feel like, and maybe this is crazy, but I feel like if we go out next year and, I'm not saying Sabonis and Levine have to go, but I'm kind of already chalking DeMar DeRozan out the door. Like, I think if we go into next season with Keegan Murray, Keon Ellis, Jake LaRavia, Devin Carter, like those scrappy defensive-minded, or at least, have some defensive tendencies to their game. Like, I think that there's a world where we can kind of, and I'm not promoting hiring Taylor Jenkins, but like, we can kind of Grizzlies this to where we could be competitive and probably finish like 36. Like, what's the difference really between 36 wins and 41 wins? I think at the end of the year is kind of where I'm at. It's like, if we're going to not be a successful team, I would much rather them be building towards something, have a youth movement, start to identify start to have an identity with young players versus you have Domantas Sabonis who's pushing 30. You have DeMar who's on the wrong side of 30. You have Zach who's in the middle of his prime. That feels a little bit like you're stuck in what you're doing. Even if those young players don't end up being as good as DeMar, Levine, Sabonis, like, it's at least selling. I won't even say selling, because I do really think that it's building towards something as opposed to trying to get the most or squeeze the rest of the juice out of whatever these guys have. And I don't know. It just, to me, feels like that's the better way of building this thing out instead of, I mean, I just don't know where that collection of guys can really top off at.
On the other side, we keep conversation going with Chris Watkins. We talk Kings dysfunction. Where does it land compared to some of the other teams? And Malik Monk, what should happen with the King of Kings next season? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Friday night, Kings and Clippers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com. Allen Stiles. Watch the show on YouTube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Chris Watkins joins us, and Kyle and I had this conversation, and I was trying to make Kings fans feel better, Chris, about what the Kings have gone through. And the question was, everything that's happened this season with the Nuggets, the Mavericks, the Suns, does that make you feel any better? Or does that make the Kings look any less dysfunctional than maybe you thought 3 months ago when it was really just the Kings who had made these moves, right? I mean, they've been one-upped in every category. Somebody moved a player. Somebody moved a more successful coach. Now the Kings did both, but I mean, hang with me here. Do they feel a little dysfunctional, less dysfunctional now?
No, they don't. In that, Frank, I'm I do think it's a totally legitimate question. Like, me and Chris Biederman were talking about it yesterday in the A's clubhouse, or in the dugout. Like, I think that two wrongs don't make a right. Like that's really how I view it, is just because these other franchises did things that are also stupid doesn't mean that your decision was any less dumb. I think that it's all independent, decisions. And I will say in general, I think that the Kings, frankly, have been saved by those franchises. Like, I think a lot more people would be talking about the De'Aaron Fox trade if the Luka Doncic trade doesn't happen. I think a lot of more people would be talking about Mike Brown and Doug Christie, or the Doug Christie era, and how maybe the Kings fired Mike because they thought they would take off, and then they go 500 through 40 games or whatever it is. And Phoenix has definitely saved them from that, because frankly, if the Kings fall out of the play-in, which they would have if the Phoenix Suns could have just played to their talent level.
Spurs
and
too.
It's the Spurs, you could argue. Yeah, if Wemby and if Wemby never gets hurt, and they play De'Aaron the rest of the year, who knows? Like, I think that the Kings have definitely, from a just kind of from a PR perspective, I guess, have definitely been saved by these other franchises making really questionable moves, because we know the national media already doesn't really pay attention to what goes on here in Sacramento. And I think in a way, like, that is kind of saved them, because people would rather hear about what's going on with Kevin Durant and Mike Budenholzer. The people would rather talk about Nico Harrison and his massive blunder. Obviously, that ties into the Lakers. And, again, I just think the Kings have really been fortunate that all of these insane moves have happened, because I think, frankly, I think there should be a much brighter light shown on the decisions that they made. But, luckily they have squeezed into the play-in. If they do win those two play-in games, as I was saying before, could do more damage than good. Like, that's going to do a lot of good. Like, we can't just blow through, oh, yeah, like, they make the play-in but then get swept, like, as I tried to do 20 minutes ago. Like, those two wins in the play-in will get you some sort of national notoriety. People will have to talk about it and will say, wow, like, the Kings, again, like had their backs to the wall, they could have given up and instead persevered, fought, won these 2 play-in games. Like it's going to be short-lived, but there will be a little bit of good press, I guess, if they can accomplish that. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think in a way your question's fair.
Second time this has happened to Malik Monk. Feel really bad. Guy happened last season. Now it's happening again this season. What are your thoughts on? Obviously, feel bad for him as a human, but what are your thoughts on how it could affect his future with the Kings? Kind of struggled before injuries, and now we're here with the absence of him in another playing situation. How does that affect him going forward, regardless of whether DeMar or not?
Yeah, and you're just talking about in Sacramento mainly, like how it's like
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's maybe something to consider for sure. Like, you know, more so like minutes load, I think could maybe be a question. Like these are, I can double check it, but I'm pretty sure these past couple seasons have been the most minutes that Malik has played in his career. You know, maybe it is a question of, you know, can his body withstand that kind of work? You know, Malik is a little bit of a thinner frame, if you will. And let's see here. Yeah, I mean, his 3 years in Sacramento, 77 games, 72 games, 65. He had only played over 72 games twice in his 5 seasons before, or 5 seasons before that. His second year in the league, and then the year that he played with the Lakers. And even then, looking at the minutes load. This season was his second most minutes played behind that Lakers season. And, you know, the season before he joined Sacramento, LeBron went down. I believe AD went down as well. So that Laker team was kind of going really deep into their bench, and Malik was a really big piece of it. Bigger point is, yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely something to consider. But I kind of think that, you know, they value Malik pretty highly. I think especially as a culture guy, a guy in the locker room, you know, that you know, Malik's always talking about keeping the locker room light. I don't know if he's going to be the starting point guard next season, but I think that they more than likely will just view this as maybe we can't rely on him, you know, to that level. We more so from a health perspective. Maybe we should try and bring him off as a 6th man and you know, just again, try and lighten his workload, because maybe you could argue there are 2 freak accidents. You know, Luka falling on his leg last year, and then I don't even really think we saw what happened to Malik with this injury. It just kind of feels like a little bit of a freak accident, but yeah, I kind of think it's something to consider for sure.
Last one for you, Chris. I know you're not really too thrilled with the play-in situation, but is there a team that you would like to see if the Kings, and I don't want to sleep on the Mavericks, I feel like we might be disrespecting them a little bit, sure, but assuming they get past the Mavericks, who's the team that you would feel the best, which would mean the Kings will probably lose this game, but who would you feel the best going up against for the Sacramento Kings?
I guess the Timberwolves. There's not really much logic behind it. I mean, the Grizzlies, you know, they found a little bit of form here. They've won 3 straight since firing their coach. I don't know if they've figured something out. You know, Golden State, I just don't want to play them, Allen. I just don't literally want to see them. And the Clippers, I think, are a really, really tough test. I just think that's a really good team. Kawhi is playing period right now, but he's also playing like really, really well. Him and James Harden are working off each other really well. And then we saw Denver last night. Like, there's a chance that I think they could compete with Denver, but realistically, like, I think I was telling Frankie the other day, like, I'm just probably scarred from that Steph Curry 50-point game in Game 7. I just really don't want, and Anthony Edwards, I guess, falls into this category, but playing these super duper mega stars who can just single-handedly win a 1-game playoff or play in, I guess, that really makes me nervous. And again, I know Anthony Edwards is definitely capable of doing that, but it feels like, you know how I feel about Julius Randle. Rudy Gobert, I think everybody kind of shares the same thoughts on him. It just feels like that team has a little bit more self-combustion, I guess.
Yes.
Like that team feels like in a one-game situation they can lay an egg, and I don't know if the Warriors would do that, even though we saw them do it last year. I just don't think the Clippers would do it, and Denver again. Like I'm afraid those two teams that just fired their coach kind of have a little bit of wind behind their sails right now.
Chris Watkins, you know him, you love him. Thanks for everything Chris does.
No problem.
One of our top editors here. Go check out all of his work, sacktownsports.com, and on our Sacktown Sports Instagram. Chris, thank you so much, and we'll see you soon, man.
Yeah, anytime, man.
On the other side, we keep the conversation going, and we have some sound from Sam Amick from the morning show. Is this a trend that we can continue to see with these coaches canned late in the season? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Friday night, Kings and Clippers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
And now a brief history of the garage door. Garage doors could date back to 450 BC when chariots were stored in gatehouses. Here in the States, they became a thing around the start of the 20th century. You could find a float-over door in a catalog way back in 1906. National Garage Door has been around since 1974. They're family-owned and operated, so you can trust them to solve any garage door issues you may have. Squeaky door, malfunctioning door, or a need for a new door, which is what prompted us to give them a call, 916-638-4554. At National Garage Door Services, their number one priority. I've witnessed that commitment in my own home, certainly in our garage. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer-branded garage doors. They are the nation's BSE broken spring experts. So if you have a garage door that looks and sounds like it dates back to 450 BC, National Garage Door can help, whether it's a garage door tune-up, repair, or replacement you need. They'll take care of you at National Garage Door, 916-638-4554. That's 916-638-4554. National Garage Door.
There's no better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep, because it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, offering the best deals in town and a selection other dealers are jealous of. Stop on by. They're just off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
It's Carmichael Dave talking to you about my good friends at American Energy. You're in the Sacramento area. You know how the seasons work. They are a-changing right now. So American Energy wants to help you stay warm for the rest of the cold season, but help you stay cool during the warm season. Best way to do that, make sure your system is operating safely. So right now is the time to take advantage of half off a tune-up, $24.50. They cut that right in half, and if you want a diagnostic, guess what? You can't beat free. If it's free, it's me, and now it can be you. And also, it's the end of the season blowout. $4,000 off a new system plus any rebates. That $4,000, that's a direct drop from the sticker price. It's a great deal. Check them out at theaeway.com or an instant quote, or give them a call at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Tell them your good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Spring is in the air and summer is just around the corner. Are your kiddos ready to let their smiles shine bright? Kids Care Dental and Orthodontics has a team of expert dentists and orthodontists dedicated to providing your family with the highest quality dental care. Whether it's a routine checkup or you're considering orthodontic options for teeth straightening, Kids Care Dental has you covered. Go to kidscaredental.com. That's kidscaredental.com, where you can schedule online. A beautiful, bright smile is just a few clicks away.
At SMUD, we power business. With incentives, strategic account advisors, 50% lower rates, and clean energy solutions, we help businesses thrive. That's our clean power promise. Learn more at smud.org.
It's the final days of the spring sales event. Drive home your new Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at folsomlakehonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
I love this time of year when the azaleas begin to bloom and the singing birds' sweet dawn chorus remind us that blue skies and sunshine are at hand. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. In sports, the definition for the word master is one who's achieved a high degree of skill, and that will be on display in the highly anticipated golf tournament. In the furniture business, a master is a highly skilled craftsman, an artist even, whose work is coveted by those who appreciate design, quality, and durability. John Keys was the mastermind of Naturewood Home Furnishings. He knew that you wanted your home to reflect your personal style, whether that was a plain coffee table or a masterpiece for you to enjoy forever. That's why when you walk into Naturewood Home Furnishings, you'll find the largest and best selection of the highest quality home furnishings in Northern California. Masterful. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Chris Watkins for great stuff from Chris. This might represent how just as far as not necessarily knowing how to feel this season, right? And the grunt to the finish line this season when it comes to we're happy about what the Kings doing. It's almost cute. The word is almost cute, right? That's what I would call it. Give me 2 seconds here.
I got you for a second. Allen is working out some technical stuff right now. You guys probably were hearing him come in a little choppy. We're just messing with his roadcaster a little bit from central Pennsylvania. You got me now, Allen, or we need a little bit more time? We'll give it a couple more seconds here. Just getting everything sorted out here. Sam Amick joined the show a little bit earlier today, and one of the things that he talked about that Allen was really interested in getting a word on was questions about whether or not situations like what we saw with Memphis and Denver might happen more frequently now. Allen, you got me?
Me, is that any better?
Nope, not quite yet. We're still working through it right now. It's a little choppy, but anyway, so earlier on the show, obviously Taylor Jenkins was fired with 9 games to go in the season for the Grizzlies. You had the Denver Nuggets with 3 games left in the season letting go of Michael Malone, which tied for the latest firing a playoff-bound team had gone this deep into the season before making the move. And Sam had this to say on the morning show, talking about whether or not we could see more of this happening in the future.
In part because coaches' salaries don't have anything to do with the salary cap. Could you see this? I don't want to say becoming more the norm than the exception. I don't think that'll ever happen, but could you see this happening more, especially if Memphis and or Denver see success in the postseason?
Yeah. I mean, I think right now that's the only answer there is yes, for sure. Especially because when we wrote this and turned it in, one of our editors questioned it because it seemed so strange. But we wrote that the Denver Nuggets, we were told, were actually impacted by Memphis's choice, that they found it interesting and logical. And that's a small factor. It's not like they just said, oh.
Kyle, you got me? Kyle? How's this, Kyle? Any better for all the people out there? I'm sorry, I can't hear you now, Kyle. The whole thing just mute. I can't hear you at all. I do like your smile, though. It does great.
Now we can hear you.
Oh, is it good now? Better.
Yes, you're coming in faint, but we got you.
Okay, how about now? I turned up my mic. Is that better?
Yep.
Better?
There we go. We got you now. We're good.
All right. Rocking and rolling. Okay. Hey, we weren't gonna get out of Dodge that easy. This is that now. My boss is never gonna let me again, so that's great. And when it comes to what Sam A kind of discussing. And how these decisions are going to continue to be made. I don't necessarily know where the line will end. And if you were listening in the earlier segment, we discussed how maybe we move towards. I'm joking about coaches, but maybe we moved just these things change very quickly, and they're not of things as far as the 5 year or whatever the case may be that could do. So maybe that could change, but at the same time, the reality is. The players are to be in a lot more controlled situations than they are right now, and not what a lot of people are used to. But that has been what we feel like it's leading towards. So crazy stuff. What did you think about what Sam said?
So it's interesting because we've talked about how the Grizzlies and the Nuggets seem like they have a plan, right? And maybe we're giving more benefit of the doubt to the team that won a championship 2 years ago and the team that has an executive of the year in Zach Kleiman making the decisions out in Memphis. But at the same time, it's interesting because we've never seen things like this happen before. So we're in this weird space where, yes, Memphis is making the decision to fire a coach at the end of the season. And from the reporting we saw from Ramona Shelburne and everyone else, they think they're not going to go on a run. They think they're getting cooked in the first round or the play-in, and that's it, and we're just making the move now. With Denver, it's a more interesting situation, and I don't know if this is going to create a trend necessarily, but Dave made the point on the show, like in European soccer, you see these types of moves made all the time where you fire the coach in the middle of a playoff run. In hockey, this happens all the time where a mid-season coach firing gives you a bump, and coaches have an average lifespan of like 2.5 years in that sport. Multiple coaches in that sport, by the way, have either been in their first years with team and won the Stanley Cup, took over mid-season and won the Stanley Cup, or not gotten a contract extension after winning a Stanley Cup. So different sports have this kind of similar tendency. I don't know why basketball is now making this move, but I guess I tend to agree with Sam that the taboo is down a little bit, only because Sam said in his story also today that the Denver Nuggets were, basically given a green light of sorts from Memphis to try something like this.
I think what's weird is when it came to Mike Brown, everybody said a lot of people on the outside said that's the wrong move, that's the wrong move, that's the wrong move, that's the wrong move. Grizzlies move on for Taylor Jenkins. I haven't heard anybody say that was the wrong move. And the Denver Nuggets move on for Mike Malone. And a lot of people say that was the right part of that is because they more prepared, right? It didn't seem like the Grizzlies maybe a different way because they weren't beating good teams, but it felt like this stuff was brewing. When the Kings did it, it was more of, hey, 5 games, and now we got to get rid of it. No, this had been brewing, and Nuggets, no, this had been brewing. So it's more of the fact that they came with narratives, so the timing doesn't look bad, but at the same time, this is still stuff that we haven't seen people too. So just because they're saying things, it's almost like they had more time to prepare what they were going and how they were going to do it. Whereas the Kings, it felt like just reacting to a 5-game losing streak, and it was on coming off of the tension as well. So I think those are the slight differences on how things went. On the other side, we keep the conversation going. We react. Chris Watkins had to say, it's the most drama-filled NBA season ever. Allen Stiles, Sacktown.
Have you ever dreamed of shopping for the perfect jewelry from home? Well, now it's possible, and you can even build your credit. PrestigiOJewelers.com now offers online shopping, making us the premium credit jeweler nationwide. With an exceptional selection of fine jewelry from engagement rings and gold chains to sparkling diamond earrings and much more. With over 30 years of experience, Prestigio guarantees you'll find exactly what you're looking for. It's fast and easy. Once approved, you'll receive a guaranteed credit line from $400 to $10,000. All you need is to be 18 years or older, have a valid form of ID, be employed for a minimum of 6 months, and a bank account for automatic payments. PrestigioJewelers.com is the perfect way to establish or reestablish your credit with interest rates at only 2.25% per month. We are here to help you with monthly reporting to all major credit bureaus. The perfect jewelry, the perfect price, helping you build perfect credit. Visit us online at PrestigioJewelers.com or at one of our locations in Sacramento, Stockton, Merced, and Fresno. Enter code SACTOWNSPORTS at checkout to save 10%.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, reminding you that every deal at Folsom Lake Ford is a slam dunk. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, including American.
Hey, Alan, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Alan? Ooh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Try talking real quick so we can test this out. Also, hi, YouTube people.
Hey Kyle, is this any better than it was? Even if I'm not on the roadcaster, on the camera mic. So
yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's not as bad as it was before, but we might have to talk longer to figure it out.
Okay, let me try this one. So let me now go to hello, Kyle. Now I'm on a different one. What about now?
Well, there's no choppiness yet, but I think you got to talk a little bit longer.
Hey, Kyle, I don't know why this is happening on the last day. It's very annoying to me.
Well, it's fine right now.
Is it still fine, Kyle? I'm just going to keep talking. Hello. Hi, Kyle. How are you doing?
Well, you can also talk to the YouTubers. They hear us.
Hi, YouTubers. Sorry, I don't know why this is happening right now.
Well, nothing choppy yet.
Okay. Yeah, maybe because it's just through the computer. I don't know. I don't know, man.
Hey, it's fine right now.
What about if I move a little bit further from what about this far? Is this okay still?
Yeah, I can still hear you. The bigger problem is the choppiness.
Is it not choppy anymore?
It hasn't yet. Since you switched to whatever you just switched to, it hasn't been choppy.
Okay, this is just the normal mic. So this is kind of what it was at the beginning of the show yesterday, which it was fine. It wasn't great,
but at least it's not choppy. It was weird. It just started at like 11:45 was when the choppiness began.
Right. I don't know. I tried restarting everything and nothing. I don't know. What does Jason mean by bandwidth? What does that mean? Like my stuff or everyone's stuff? We're
getting it sorted out, but this will work for now. It's just saying it could even if your Wi-Fi is fine. You know how like there's 3 bars on the Wi-Fi and then there's like a separate one with like 3 next to it. That's what that is. Anyways, let's go back here real quick. You sound fine for now. Obviously, you're just doing it out of the computer, but at least you're not choppy.
All right.
It's all here. Starts in Honda.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
We are back. Thank you for working with us as we work through some issues. And hey, this was a temporary situation. Brendan Nunez will be in tomorrow for me. I'll be on my way back to California. So thanks to Kyle and our technician, Jason Ornelas, to getting us to a place where should at least be easier on the ears. So we're taking you up to 2 p.m. and the Drive guys will have you from there. And they got some great stuff for you. We wanted to break down some of the drama that we've talked about this season. And so many different teams have not even been brought up. When you talk about the Suns or the Heat, right? And the Heat get a little bit of a pass because they are the Heat. And it's Heat culture, it's this, it's that. But let's be honest, if there was maybe an honorable mention situation there as well, couldn't you also say that the Heat should be in that conversation? They knew Jimmy Butler wanted an extension. For some odd reason, they don't give it to him. They just say, no, we're just going to go into this next season. He said he wanted to stay. Pat Riley is saying, hey, you need to get off of Twitter. You're not even available, this, that, crazy stuff. But
I believe shut up and play was the quote.
Essentially, yes. And they don't move on they get Andrew Wiggins back. And I think Kyle Anderson is out there as well. So, but besides that, they don't get much for Jimmy Butler after the whole situation. And they don't really get talked about because it's Heat culture. When we had on Hunter Patterson, who covers the Pistons but is a Heat fan, and he said DeMar DeRozan gets the jokes for it being the DeMar DeRozan Invitational. But in reality, it's really the Heat Invitational as well. They're always in the play-in, and I don't have them listed. The more I think about it, I don't even know if the Kings are top 3 on this list. I don't even know if they're top 5 on this list. There's a lot of drama this season, Kyle.
Top 5 is pretty tough. I mean, in terms of drama, here's where I think Miami went wrong. I think Miami just made a miscalculation. When Jimmy had 1 year left on the contract, they should have never gone into the last season without either resolving that contract situation or trading him. I think that was the miscalculation that kind of led to everything else. I guess you could say with Phoenix, they kind of made the miscalculation of the Bradley Beal trade, but that's also kind of chalked up to like new owner-itis a little bit too. So I would say in terms of drama, the Kings were a relatively undramatic ending, except for that, 4 days between when they decided to say the Shams report saying they were open to trading De'Aaron Fox and De'Aaron getting traded. Like, in a sense, Sacramento avoided the drama just by making it all so fast.
Yeah. Well, and the AMIC article right after that made people feel some type of way. So I would throw that into the drama because that kind of spoke to everything that was going on. But, I'm just closing my eyes and looking around the league at all the stuff that happened. I hadn't even mentioned the Heat because it's Heat culture and that's kind of how it goes. So a lot of different things happened this season that I don't think Chris Watkins necessarily felt better or feels any better about the Kings. In fact, he told us that he didn't. But at the same time, if they do make their next move, their best move, they could find themselves in a situation where they're competitive. If I'm being honest, I don't see a world where the scrappy conversation that Chris spoke about. I just don't, and I don't know that Chris believes that this would happen either, but I just don't think that would be the case with the Kings. I don't see that happening. And whether it's Malik Monk or Domantas Sabonis, I just don't see the powers that be digging in, because essentially what Chris is talking about is, hey, you'd have your young guys and you just have picks that you would eventually use to grow. Because Domantas Sabonis is gone. He's gone for hopefully 2 or 3 first-round draft picks. DeMar wouldn't go for that much. And Zach LaVine probably would be some younger players versus picks. But we're building something young. We're building a new identity. That's what it is. I don't see – that's why I'm more so buying into what the Kings are doing right now, because I just don't see that happening, right? So I'm just trying to enjoy the playoffs, because I don't see the Kings saying, oh, now that they're here, that's why making the play-in, I understand why people didn't want to. But now that we're here, I do not see the Kings saying, hey, we were a 9 seed. That's not good enough. Let's start from scratch. I just don't see them doing that.
Yeah, especially given all that we've been talking about for the last 2 weeks about playoff revenue and having an all-NBA player in their prime and all sorts of things like that. I mean, as it relates to the LaVine thing, coming up in the 1 o'clock hour, we've got some of the worst contracts and best contracts in the NBA this season, and LaVine might fall under one of those categories. And if they were to trade him, they'd probably have to take on another equally bad contract in order to make that work. But I think one way or another, the Kings are going to have a reclamation project next year, whether that's LaVine, whether that's Paul George, whether that's whoever's bad contract, Jamal Murray, or whoever bad contract they take from another team. They'll probably have a reclamation project. Unless someone offers 6 first-round picks for Sabonis, I assume they're going to have Sabonis on the team again. I think the bigger question is just who's going to be making the decisions around the edges to fill out the rest of the roster. And that doesn't feel like dysfunction necessarily. It just feels like they've set themselves back with the decisions they've made this year.
Yeah. So, it is definitely going to be one of those situations where I can already hear it. And maybe I'm just preparing myself for it, because they're going to beat the Mavs. And here's the other thing to think about too. They were the 9 seed. They won the first game. They lost the second game. And they did go out and get DeMar DeRozan. So at least last season, you might not have necessarily liked the pickup of DeMar DeRozan, but at least they admitted, hey, that wasn't good enough. So I think if you change your thought process from they're going to blow it all up and rebuild to, hey, they're going to retool and maybe they'll put a good enough team together to truly make a run. I think that's more realistic, because I just don't see them blowing the whole thing up. But I do see them saying, this didn't make a ton of sense. I know there were some injuries. That's why I asked Chris about the Malik Monk thing, because I don't know that it's going to be, if you're paying him and now playing him less, you move on from De'Aaron Fox. And the hope is that, I'm on record too, that Malik Monk takes a leap. And now all of a sudden, the thought process is that Malik Monk is going to have to play a little bit less because his body can't really handle those heavy minutes. Then you have to think completely differently on what that contract means. Because that goes from being, wow, this guy is essentially a bargain, to, wow, could we be getting more from someone or multiple players for that price tag?
I'm going to make a note here for 2 weeks from now, a topic segment, because I don't want to dive into it today when we're celebrating the Kings being in the play-in. But if the Kings come back with the same 6 players, the core guys, LaVine, Monk, DeRozan, Keon Ellis, Keegan Murray, and Sabonis, even if they add a Chris Paul, and even if they bring back a LaRavia, or even if they keep the pick for some odd reason, would that feel like a failure for Kings fans if they bring back that same 6 guys, even if they make tinkers around the edges? Because if so, then it feels like you've already made up your mind regardless of what's going to happen at this point going forward. If the answer is no, I don't want the same 6 players of the core coming back next year.
If your thought process is similar to Chris Watkins, and we'll have him back on because we were having some audio difficulties, so we'll have him back on next week, of course, then I don't think there's anything that they can do outside of starting the teardown process that would make you feel good about their future. Outside of taking a random swing and falling with the Kevin Durant in your lap, and I don't even know if Kevin Durant could do it based on his age, but outside of the Heat deciding, hey, Jaime Jaquez and Jovic, we actually are going to move on from them, or something like that could just give some juice to the rest of the bunch, then I don't think so. I don't think that finding your Jake LaRavia replacement, assuming he gets on out of here, and your DeMar, whatever that, and your Jake LaRavia and your Tyus Jones, right? Your Tyus Jones version, that's not going to make people with the rebuild thought process feel better.
Well, I think there is one thing that could make the people with the rebuild process mindset feel better, and that is the 0.5% chance of landing the number 1 pick if they miss the playoffs and somehow win the lottery or get a top 3 pick somehow out of the lottery. I think maybe then people would feel more bullish about their chances, and they would probably have to pivot their direction too, just to decide what they want to do now.
On the other side, we hit the 1 o'clock hour. We are back rocking and rolling. And I will say this, it takes a specific team, and it takes a certain team to have contracts that are viewed as the best in the league and contracts that are viewed as the worst in the league. I actually don't know who's who, and Kyle is going to help me through all this. I'm going to guess, see if I can pick them correctly, and you can help too. Phone line's open, by the way, 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. On the text line as well, got some text to read through. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body?
Your old HVAC system could be costing you a fortune in energy bills and repair bills. Right now, Sierra Pacific is offering deep discounts, saving homeowners thousands of dollars. Savings that won't be available later this year. But you must act fast. We have to fill openings in our schedule next week. This limited time offer is only available if you book your installation for next week. Don't wait until it's too late. Call Sierra Pacific and lock in your savings today.
Sierra Pacific Solar Heating and Air, the guys in the big red trucks.
Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the best truck on the market, the 2025 Ram 1500. And that's not an exaggeration. It's proven. It's the 7th time Ram has won the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Car and Driver named it one of its 10 best vehicles of 2025, giving it a 10 out of 10. And at J.D. Power, it's number 1 when it comes to brand vehicle quality. And hey, yeah, all that's great. But where Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram really separates themselves from the pack is their car buying experience. Come on in and see for yourself why they say it's where a handshake still means something.
Bring the whole family to Sutter Health Park for Sacramento River Cats baseball. It's more than a game. It's an experience your kids will never forget. Enjoy exciting action on the field, delicious ballpark food, and fun activities for all ages. From meeting Dinger the mascot to running the bases every Sunday, there's something for everyone. Create lasting memories with your family this season. Get your tickets at rivercats.com.
Allen Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Update, brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. After Tommy John surgery in May 2024, Ken Waldichuk began a bullpen progression on March 4th. He continues to throw off the mound and remains in line for a potential return to the major leagues around June. Zach Geloff got his cast removed from his hand fracture and has started light workouts. A 4 to 6 week timeline is about the standard for such injuries, but Zach Geloff hopes to be back sooner. On the court, Devin Carter has been listed as day-to-day with a shoulder contusion and will be listed as questionable for the time being. This injury report was brought to you by Downtown LA Law Group. Hi, I'm Allen Stiles. Injured at work? Call Downtown. Downtown LA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, they've won over $500 million in settlements. Downtown LA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay zero up front. Call Downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com.
It's the final days of the spring sales event. Drive home your new Honda before the deals and the new Hondas disappear. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? During the spring sales event, drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at folsomlakehonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our number one priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Welcome to the SoFi NBA Play-In Tournament, a chance to punch your ticket to the playoffs and earn a spot on the main stage.
Their title hopes are still alive.
But to prove you've got what it takes, you've got to take somebody's place.
What a finish!
Every game, every play, and every moment matters. All you got to do is win to get in. Don't miss the SoFi NBA Play-In Tournament April 15th through 18th on ESPN and TNT.
You've heard the saying, penny wise, pound foolish, right? It means you do something that will save you a little bit right now, just pennies, but that ends up costing you pounds in the end.
People put off tuning up their furnace because they don't want to take the time or spend the money to get it done.
But it only takes 90 minutes and costs just $87, which is just pennies compared to the huge problems and expenses that can rack up if you don't get your furnace tuned up.
You'll also save money on your energy bills, and your system will last longer.
So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Call Bell Brothers for a precision tune-up and professional cleaning today.
Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Sacramento Kings basketball.
To the hoop, two-hand throwdown by Keegan Murray. The run to the playoffs.
Over-the-shoulder pass is a super room service setup with Amadis Sabonis on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Good afternoon, Sacramento. It's Kyle Ledbetter with your Masters 2025 leaderboard update. Scotty Scheffler, the defending champion, and Corey Connors are both in the clubhouse at 4 under. Rory McIlroy is 3 under through 9 holes. But the leader, pulling away from the pack, is Justin Rose at 6 under through 12 holes. He currently has a 2-stroke lead on the field. This Masters update is brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and vocal.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
One more hour with you, Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports. Thanks for everybody rocking with me as we took this thing on the road. You know how technology can be sometimes, but we have powered through. Thanks to Kyle, thanks to our tech team. And we are rocking and rolling. Kyle, I'm going to throw it to you pretty soon here, my guy, as you cooked up some, and I don't know any of these answers. So Matt Issa of Forbes kind of used a formula with former Bucks director of basketball that states a single win is worth $3.4 million to an NBA organization. So as you can, that line right there should just tell everyone this is a Kyle segment. Production value equals a player's estimated wins according to website Dunks and Threes multiplied by 3.4 million, the value of a single win in the 2024-2025 season. So with that being said, there are some contracts that
that Forbes has deemed the best contracts and the worst contracts in the NBA, and the Kings find themselves on both because that's what the Kings do. That is how you are Maren Morris and meet me in the middle when you have really good contracts and what's viewed as really bad contracts. So, Kyle, without further ado.
Well, first of all, you explaining it makes other people feel like they're losing their mind just a little. But let me just layman's terms it. You know what WAR is for baseball? Does everyone here know what WAR is for baseball?
Wins above replacement. Yes.
Yes. So essentially take WAR for NBA and multiply it by 3.4 million. Why 3.4 million? Because they calculated that for an NBA franchise, we're talking about the Viveks and the people who own the Mavericks and everything else, one win per season is worth approximately $3.4 million relative to the salary cap. So every game you win versus lose, that's $3.4 million worth to your franchise in the NBA. So that essentially calculates what everyone's value is for the season. And so Matt of Forbes came up with a really great list of the best and worst contracts in the NBA. So let's just start off with for the best contracts. He had to divide it by rookie scale contracts and then just best contracts in the NBA, because obviously it's not fair to compare Wemby, who has to make $10 million versus some of these other people. So let's just start off with the 10 best contracts, period, in the NBA. Number 1 is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, which is no surprise. Obviously, he's the MVP of the league. Any amount you could pay. This is crazy. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if he, against a salary cap, he could make $68 million this year, and he would be a bargain contract based on his production.
Did you see this? This is kind of on a different topic, but did you see, I think it was Patrick Beverley say, this is why Shai is the MVP, because Jokic got his coach fired?
I mean, Shai is going to win MVP, but that's not why he got his coach fired.
Right. I thought that was funny. Okay, continue.
All right, so I'm just going to read off the list. These are the best contracts in the NBA non-rookie category. Number 2, Ivica Zubac. Number 3, Peyton Pritchard. Number 4, Malik Beasley. Number 5, Derek White. Number 6, Austin Reeves. Number 7, Ty Jerome, your favorite player with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Number 8, Chris Dunn with the Clippers. That actually has been a really good contract. Number 9, Scottie Pippen Jr. with the Grizzlies. And coming in at number 10 at a value of $11.9 million over expected, we have from your Sacramento Kings, Keon Ellis.
I really just be chilling for real.
Wow. I knew it was good. I mean, who else was it going to be? I think there was probably a shout for Malik to be in that conversation, but it didn't end up going in that direction. But Keon being on this list, there are different versions of good contracts, right? We talk about found money. This is the most found money. He should be higher on this list, I would say. And if he was starting from the beginning of the season, he probably would be high. He probably is higher on that list. So great stuff from Keon.
So of the people in the top 10, there are 3 players who are making less than $3 million this season. So like obviously Shai's number 1, he has a max contract, but he's playing so well that he's worth that max contract times 2 essentially. But for the found money players, essentially Matt Issa is essentially concluding these are the found money MVP awards this year. Ty Jerome, who's making $2.6 million, but is worth $18 million to the Cavs. Keon Ellis, who's making $2.1 million and is worth $14 million to the Kings. And Scottie Pippen Jr., who is making the same as Keon and worth the same as Keon on the open market.
So how does this affect when the contracts come around? Would the Kings go to Keon and say, hey, you're worth
about $15 million to us, and that's the type of contract we're going to give you?
That's based on his production from this year. So it depends,
Right.
maybe
This year,
Keon's
yes.
camp. Maybe Keon's camp comes back and says, well, we're only going to get better, so therefore we should make 18 million or 20 million potentially. But this year, Keon Ellis, relative to the salary cap, has been worth $14 million to the Kings.
Right. Yeah, that's really interesting. And, to see how Keon has evolved and to go from the doghouse situation to where we're at now, it's been quite the move. To your point, that turns into and going back to Malik Monk, if Malik Monk had not gotten injured, and even if they still lose in that second game, but let's say Malik Monk dropped 25 or whatever the case is, maybe he gets priced out. Keon, he could be worth 14 mil now, but back in the day in JUCO, if you didn't have a scholarship yet and the state tournament was around the corner, that was called just get to the promised land, because everybody gets signed, everybody gets a contract, everybody gets a scholarship if you get to the promised land. They're about to get to the promised land, and Keon could say, yeah, I was worth 14 mil after I was put in the doghouse, I've been the sixth man, and now I'm a starter, and I just went off for 20 in a play-in game. I was worth 14 million, but I was worth 14 million not even utilized the right way. I'm probably worth more than that if I get utilized the right way.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is why we were talking the other day about the Matt George scenario where they decline the team option and then potentially work something out this offseason. Do the Kings actually say, well, we have you for 2.3 million next year, which means we're already getting a bargain no matter what. And then we get to free agency in 2026 and say, if you meet our price, awesome. If not, thank you for your service. We're glad someone else could cash you out for $80 million potentially on another contract. These are the interesting conversations that they're going to have in the offseason based on whoever is in charge there. But Keon has been one of the 10 best contracts in the NBA this season.
Yeah. And that's the type of guy that I think, again, you bring up the conversation of untouchable, but that's the type of guy I think Chris Watkins would say, hey, if you're making me choose between him, and we did the Malik conversation and some of these other guys, I'm taking Keon because of the ceiling. And you have to have a conversation with yourself if you're the organization. Is this a hot start, or is this somebody we think can raise their level of play, and how high do they think Keon's ceiling is? Because we see guys like that all the time when they come in from college and they play really well. I think that was supposed to be Jalen Brunson, right? Hey, he's not going to stink, but his ceiling isn't that high. These guys that they might not have the crazy, and Keon is crazy athletic, don't get me wrong, but the stuff that doesn't jump off the tape, like Jonathan Kuminga and guys like that, but they already know what they want to do and who they want to be. Keon, to me, we know he's just going to keep getting better defensively. We know he can shoot the basketball. I don't know, when we look at how guys turn into point guards and facilitators, I don't know how easy it is to evaluate that and say, hey, well, my assists are going to go up. I'm going to facilitate the basketball more. It's going to be interesting, the kind of back and forth that the Kings have when it's that time. But 14 mil a year, I mean, that's why I've roughly compared Keon to Brock Purdy, obviously not in the same way. But when you're saving a team money and contributing to success, that's when you have a lot of wiggle room. And you can say, hey, this is what I've been doing. You know what I've been doing. And this is what the numbers say I've been doing. And I could do even more. I'm only X years old, 20, whatever, and we can continue to move in that direction. All right. From the best to the worst. When we return, the Kings also find themselves on the list for the worst contracts in the NBA. I'll give you one guess who it is, but maybe you need two. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
Friday night, Kings and Clippers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Rizumkizumab of Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
We are breaking down Forbes' list that has the Sacramento Kings with one of the best contracts in the NBA. That's Keon Ellis. They also have the Kings on the list of the worst contracts. We have not revealed who that is yet, but Kyle, you had a couple more notes on some of the other contracts, some of the other good contracts in the NBA.
Just one quick note. So I mentioned these were the best contracts, non-rookies category, because obviously, like, the #1 rookie contract this year is the #1 contract in the NBA would be Jalen Williams, but that's because, you know, obviously he's a number 12 pick in the draft. So they made a separate list of best rookie scale contracts, and those are your Jalen Williams, your Şengün's, Christian Brown, Wembanyama, Cade Cunningham, guys like that. No King made the top 10, but under honorable mentions, you have Jalen Wells, Walker Kessler, Andrew Nembhard, Scotty Barnes, and one Keegan Murray.
What's up, Sacramento?
Wow. I'll take honorable mention all day.
He'd crack the top 15 for best rookie scale. So of all the players drafted between 2021 and 2024, Keegan Murray is the 15th best player that was selected.
There you go. We will take that all day long. And that's why the Monty McNair thing is so confusing, as a lot of people do want to move on, but he's done some great stuff. Now I sound like Draper saying that, but he has made some great moves. It hasn't all come together quite yet, but it almost feels like you're at the plate and you're fouling pitches off, just trying to stay in the mix, and maybe you'll run into something. But there are some strikeouts that have happened as well. And Kyle, I know you are going to lead us through those right now.
Okay, so he had to separate the two categories again. So the first category is worst players because of injury, which is they've played less than 50 games. So that's your Joel Embiid's, Bradley Beal, Paul George, Ben Simmons, Larry Markkinen, Zion, guys like that. There's a lot of fun names on there. Like, I didn't realize Joel Embiid has been worth $7.3 million to the 76ers this year, which is insane given he just signed what feels like a $700 million contract extension this offseason. Just brutal injury luck.
Yeah, that is awful. All right. Well, I think we all know who is on the list.
All right, so this is worst non-injury contracts in the NBA. Again, this is according to Matt Issa of Forbes, which is essentially taking your WAR multiplied by $3.4 million, which is how much a win is worth in the NBA. So at number 1, the worst contract in the NBA, it's a bit of a surprise. Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics has been the worst contract in the league. Now, he's one of the largest contracts in the NBA, but he's only been worth about $18 million to the Celtics this season.
That is interesting. I was watching that Celtics-Knicks game, and, the Celtics, to me, man, they've dealt with some weird injuries. I don't know what's going to happen with them. He wasn't playing, but he was on the bench. So I don't know what's going on with the Celtics. They might get to a point where they're assuming the duration of the playoffs is where they come together, but it feels like they've been a little, I know they're the second seed, don't get me wrong, but feels like they've been a little disjointed all season long.
The Celtics are such a weird team because they had, as we mentioned before, 2 players in the top 5 of best contracts, which was Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, and the worst contract, which is Jaylen Brown. But also Jaylen Brown's been more productive this season than 2 of those guys. So anyways, then you get to names that we expect. Number 2 is Nick Claxton for the Brooklyn Nets. Number 3 is Kyle Kuzma, who actually has negative production value this year. Kyle Kuzma has been worth negative $1.5 million to the teams that he plays for.
I saw that the Bucks have been better with him off the floor. So the trade has just been a complete disaster.
Yeah, it turns out Kyle Kuzma is a merchant when it comes to just putting up shots and going down the floor.
I don't even know what type of merchant he is, though. He's like a played with LeBron and won a championship merchant. That's really what he is.
He was the number 4 on a team that won a championship, which is kind of crazy to say. Yeah. Speaking of LeBron, he's number 5 on this list randomly. Which you wouldn't have expected given how good he's been. It's just his contract is so gigantic and he's missed a few games. Terry Rozier, number 4, for obvious reasons. And coming in at number 6 on the list is the guy I'm sure most people expected it would be, Zach LaVine, who has been worth $20.8 million this season, is making $44.5 million, which is a difference of negative $23.7 million based on what LaVine is making.
Can I defend my guy real quick? And I don't know how the numbers have dipped since it's probably still where it was now because of some of the heaters that he's gone on for the Bulls. But if he's made 20 whatever million and he's getting paid 40 whatever million and he's averaging 24 points, are they essentially saying that nobody should be getting paid 40 million unless agents would hate this exercise, by the way, but nobody should be getting paid 40 million unless they're an MVP candidate? Because couldn't you make the argument, and I know it's not just about scoring, but couldn't Domantas Sabonis be somewhere based on how they're viewing this? I mean, what is worth 40 million according to that?
Let's go back to the original list. Apparently Derek White, because Derek White is worth $36 million this season, according to this metric. But also, like, Zubac is at 37, Jalen Williams is at 37. So, like, yeah, they're saying all-stars or fringe all-stars are worth $40 million, but not everyone is playing at it. They're essentially saying you can win a championship with 2 players making $40 million as long as both of them are legitimate all-stars.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the other thing is, too, I'm just thinking about the points with Zach LaVine. Obviously, the game is more than that. You have guys, Jalen Williams, he can facilitate the basketball, and Zubac kind of has done it all this season. So I get it. I'm trying to defend Zach LaVine a little bit because they're according to this, there's some bad contracts out there.
Well, a lot of them are the 50 million plus guys. I mean, Joel Embiid, as we mentioned, is on the worst contracts. Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James, Jaylen Brown, who's the reigning finals MVP, is technically the worst contract in the league just for this season based on production value. So I think what makes it the most difficult, though, for the Kings is the fact that they actively chose to take on that contract, right? Like the fact that most of LaVine's production came on Chicago. And then they chose to take on that contract knowing what it was.
Yes. Yeah. Because what I saw from LaVine, there were other teams interested. So other teams didn't necessarily feel like it was terrible. You take him out of the setting, you put him in a new setting. We know kind of how that goes. So you're adding a lot of different variables versus what would have happened if you finished the season in Chicago. So that's part of it as well. I understand the exercise and where they're coming from, but it's really a situation where if you're going to pay somebody 40 plus million, they better go off every single season or you're losing money, which I guess feels kind of obvious, but also isn't terribly realistic. I mean, I don't know what Steph's numbers are this season, but I mean, you look at some of these secondary guys, Steph's not secondary, but guys that you didn't see on the list, but Kyrie, and we want to ignore injuries, but I just feel like it's very easy to find yourself on this list.
Yeah, and if we keep going down the list, like Kevin Durant is on here, but his value this year for worst, but his value is $32 million in production this year. He's essentially worth 8 wins more than an average level player, but he's making $51 million. So he's going to end up on the list just by virtue of, if you're making $50 million, you better be an MVP level player. And according to this, Kevin Durant's been just as valuable as like Derek White this season, which Derek White's been balling, but that's just a crazy thing to say if you're just looking at the pure production value.
A little bit of pocket watching going on, but first, the A's and the curious case of the pictures being taken. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. I took to social media to say a couple things, and I want to speak to the A's situation in SAC. We will do that in about 3 minutes. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Friday night, Kings and Clippers. Game night with Scott Marsh and the high flyer Henry Turner starts at 5:30. Tip-off at 7.
The Kings play here on Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9861. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9861. That's 800-575-9861. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Save $12,000 off MSRP on new 2025 Silverado 1500 LT at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. After all rebates.
And Maida Chevy still has one of the largest selections in the Sacramento area.
With $12,000 off new Silverado exclusively at the Maida Chevy Silverado Supercenter. Now that's big, huge. See them all at MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
5 savings plus trade in 2011 or newer. Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers.
Made a great deal at Maida.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Are you ready to unlock your business's potential? Hey, I'm Allen Stiles, and you can do that with Roxas Technology Solutions. Their mission is to empower growth through cutting-edge, reliable, and scalable technology. They tailor solutions to enhance efficiency and foster innovation, ensuring your business thrives in the digital age. Located in Sacramento, their dedicated team is ready to partner with you for your long-term success. Transform your business now. Go to roxtech.com. That's WROXTECH.com. Rox Tech. Tomorrow's technology at your fingertips today.
Sacramento's premier country music festival, Country in the Park, is coming back. May 16th and 17th at Cal Expo with Bailey Zimmerman, Billy Currington, Cole Wetzel, Nate Smith, and more. You'll enjoy food trucks, rock walls, and a mechanical bull, line dancing, and more. Single-day GA tickets start at $52 at CITPFest.com. Country in the Park, May 16th and 17th with Rox Tech, Michelob Ultra, and Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. More info at CITPFest.com.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery from the law firm of Gingery, Hammer & Associates. When you have been injured by the fault of another, You will want advice you can trust. If you know an attorney you can trust, I hope you call that person. But if you don't, please call me. I promise I will be the attorney you can trust, along with my entire team. I have been helping accident survivors recover compensation for their injuries for 25 years, and we can help you. There is no charge for calling. If you have an injury, just call Gingery.
And now a brief history of the garage door. Garage doors could date back to 450 BC when chariots were stored in gatehouses. Here in the States, they became a thing around the start of the 20th century. You could find a float-over door in a catalog way back in 1906. National Garage Door has been around since 1974. They're family-owned and operated, so you can trust them to solve any garage door issues you may have. Squeaky door, malfunctioning door, or a need for a new door, which is what prompted us to give them a call, 916-638-4554. At National Garage Door Services, their number one priority. I've witnessed that commitment in my own home, certainly in our garage. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They are the nation's BSE broken spring experts. So if you have a garage door that looks and sounds like it dates back to 450 BC, National Garage Door can help, whether it's a garage door tune-up, repair, or replacement you need. They'll take care of you at National Garage Door. 916-638-4554. That's 916-638-4554. National Garage Door.
Your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
So I don't know if I said this. Well, obviously I didn't say it on the air because from time to time my wife will listen. But the whole situation was with me being out here was everybody knew I was going to Vegas. Then after I was leaving Vegas, I was meeting my wife and baby Stiles in Pennsylvania. And she didn't know. It was a surprise because they're going to be gone for a couple weeks. That's a long time. So she didn't know that I was going to surprise them so I could be there, help out when needed. Obviously, the in-laws are doing a great job helping out, but I was going to surprise them. So I did this thing where I'm leaving Vegas and I take a video of myself trying to document the whole thing, right? Because everybody knew, Kyle knew, obviously my boss knew, had to okay it. So everybody knew besides my wife, a bunch of people knew. And I get to the airport and I record myself. Then by the time I get picked up by my father-in-law and we're driving back, long story short, Kyle, I had this whole idea to document the surprise. And you know, when you have like an idea in your mind and you think it's going to end up a certain way and then it doesn't. I called her and I said, hey, I just got back from Vegas. And as I'm walking, so it was great. As I'm walking into the house, I'm on the phone with her. And then as I get closer, she can hear the echo, right? And she's, what are you doing here? So there was a surprise, but didn't really know how to execute the documentation. And long story short, I haven't even posted anything on Instagram. Now I leave tomorrow. It felt like a missed opportunity for sure, but it also made me feel good because I'm definitely, not a Gen Zer, because I wanted it to be because I wanted to do it. I didn't do it because I wanted to get content out of it. Should I have probably gotten some content out of it? Yes, but I did not.
You didn't have to, though. Like, was the content going to be?
I feel like I should have gotten some content out of it
because you would have gotten to surprise your wife. Like, what was the content you wanted to make out of it? It seemed like
it's cool.
It seemed like you were documenting it more for her sake, more than it was for everyone else to be like, look how much of a good husband I am.
But then it's like I wasn't gonna walk in videoing her. Hey, look at this surprise. Look at me, I'm here. So then I would have had to ask one of the in-laws, hey, can you video me? And I didn't want to do that. So I know what happened and it was a good moment, but I feel like it's a missed opportunity.
I feel like you just answered your own question then. It seemed like if you didn't have the confidence to ask your father-in-law or one of your in-laws to be filming while it was happening, or at least do the pretend like, oh, I'm on my phone, but I'm actually filming, then
Right. Then I would have had to organize all that too. I just said, you know what? It's all good. And
This
I
can be
would
a
hope
beautiful moment for you, your wife, and your in-laws to enjoy.
there you go. And I'm on the way back tomorrow. Brendan Nunez will be filling in, just a FYI for everybody. So I will be back in studio on Monday. And speaking of living in the moment, that leads me right into what I wanted to talk about with the A's and living in the moment there. I have been on this bandwagon, and I am still on this bandwagon because it's mostly media members. Okay. And I got on Whitey a couple days, what was that, yesterday, a couple days ago. Then I saw it again today. And yesterday was a really good crowd. It was a day game. So everybody hey, they're at 10,000, whatever. And I don't know what's happening to the ticket prices, if they're dropping, which is making it easier for people to go. I don't know what's happening, but I don't really care. This is my thought process on everything. We saw all the pictures. We don't need to continue to tell people Sacramento can support baseball. Sacramento can support Major League Baseball. We know that's not the problem for me. Sacramento can support baseball. So can Salt Lake City. So can Portland. So can Nashville. So can a bunch of other cities. So I don't necessarily think that the battle, and somebody else responded and said, it looks way more packed than Oakland. That's not your battle anymore. Comparing yourself to Oakland, I mean, you're joking them yourself. Why would you compare yourself to a city that lost a team? So, and that's not how I feel about it, but I'm using that thought process on why are you still comparing yourself to Oakland? That's not the problem. But the bottom line is the whole reason this thing happened, and Mr. Vivek essentially told us about this expansion situation and how the hope is that this solid that he's doing for John Fisher and Major League Baseball will come back on them at some point when the expansion team happens, and hopefully the A's get to the front of the line. The other teams, if you put the same situation in Portland, the numbers would be similar. You do the same situation in Salt Lake City, the numbers would be similar. The same situation in Nashville, the numbers would be similar. There is not a situation where Major League Baseball is going to give or not give Sacramento a baseball team because it wasn't packed to the brim every single game. Now, if it's terrible, sure, that doesn't look good. Don't get me wrong. But I don't need to see and have arguments over 1,000 to 2,000 people every single game. And whether or not it's spring break yet, and whether or not the weather is good enough, or whether or not the A's are good enough, it's not going to come down to that. It's going to come down to whether or not this favor will push Sacramento to the front of the line. Because if it doesn't, all of the other cities that I mentioned, they're going to be battling it out, and they're going to have their bids. And I know there's a bunch of money involved and things like that. It goes deeper than even things that I understand fully. The favors, the good old boy kind of situation that it is. So I'm just trying to tell people you can do what you want. And I will never tell you how to fan, and I'm not going to tell media how to media. But if we have, this is only the second homestand. Do we have to post a picture after every homestand talking about how Sacramento can host a Major League Baseball team? And when it's 12,000 or 11,000 or at capacity, then it's time to parade that around. And when it's at 10,000 or 9,000, then everybody's wondering, oh, was that stupid? It's too long of a season. If this was the NFL, maybe I could survive for 18 weeks. But every single flipping game. I got to see a picture of the stands, and I'm trying to avoid it. And I'm not calling out any of my colleagues or my peers. I'm not trying to. I'm just saying that we get it. We get it. Sacramento is good enough. Sacramento cares about baseball enough to have their own team. That's not the issue. The issue is going to be whether or not that favor puts them in the front of the line. They're not going to sit there and say, well, on Tuesday against the Padres, there were only 9,500 people there, and the lawns weren't completely packed. And that Wednesday night against the Cubs, it was a blowout, but it was cold, but they should have been there. But it doesn't matter. Not to the level that everybody is saying or making it feel. The other part of this is the ticket pricing. If they drop the prices down and they start selling out, that revenue still matters. Because again, if you did the same thing in Portland right now and you drop those ticket prices, they could argue that the numbers would be the same. So I don't necessarily know who we were proving this against. It's all going to come down to whether or not this is viewed as a favor and whether or not it will be paid back or paid forward. That's it. That's it. Please, I can't do the attendance counts anymore, Kyle. I can't do it. Every game.
So would you like me to delete my video from Tuesday of the empty crowd before the game started that I posted on Twitter?
I didn't see it, and I'll probably see it now, but I'm just going to keep scrolling.
That's fine. If I go to the game,
I follow too many media members that I can't avoid the pictures. Because somebody's saying, Allen, just ignore them. I'm trying.
You're saying you can't mute Kevin over at ABC 10 all the time?
He was the most recent one, but they've all done it. Sacramento can support Major League Baseball. I know that. You know that. We all know that. That's not going to be the question when this tryout is over. Now I will say, like I said, if it gets bad, and that's the other part of this. If it's the third year, and I think the A's are going to be better, but if that doesn't happen, and now you're looking at 7,000, things like that, Sacramento is in a situation where when you're dealing with a minor league stadium, you could kind of only look bad, right? Because when you look good, people are going to say, well, it's a minor league stadium. It only seats 12,000. If the A's continue to lose games and you're in year 3 to a team that has not, because then and we already see it shifting. I know we got to get to the other side, Kyle, because I already see the shift happening where people are saying, well, the A's never really bought into Sacramento. So now people are even starting to say, I would say use a couple excuses there. Well, and that's maybe why, and that's fine. I agree. They should have just called themselves the Sacramento A's or done more to represent the city. But it's a tough situation. And I get it if you drop to 7,000, whatever it is now. But every single day right now, where it's 9,000 one day, 10,000 another, when it comes down to it, if Sacramento is staying around this level, even if they're not quote unquote sellouts, if they're at 9,000 and up every single game, it's not going to come down to, well, they didn't sell it out or whatever the case is. It's going to go way deeper than that. Sacramento has proven that they can support Major League Baseball. Now it comes down to decision makers that you going to that random Tigers game in Wednesday, it will not affect that. It will not affect that. It goes way deeper, years deeper. And we're going to continue to have some fun with it. But more than anything, I wanted to tie a bow on this because I told you that we're going to talk baseball on this show as far as what's happening on the field, not taking pictures of who's in the stands or what the weather is. Pocket watching on the other side. And since today is my last show of the regular season, we're going to predict the 3 to 10 slots and what they will look like come Monday. This should be a lot of fun to close out the show. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time and skip the regular line at the airport and pay for speedy security. Imagine not having to quickly unpack and pack at the place you already came back to. And wearing your shoes the whole time you're there? You can't put a price on that kind of luxury. Well, actually you can, and you paid for it. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time for speedy security. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get ready for a night of legendary rock and roll. Styx and Kevin Cronin live in concert Saturday, April 26th at the Nugget Event Center in Sparks, Nevada. Don't miss your chance to see the iconic sounds of Styx with Kevin Cronin on stage, bringing you all the hits. It's a night you won't forget. Tickets on sale now at NuggetCasinoResort.com, so grab yours before they're gone. Styx and Kevin Cronin live Saturday, April 26th. More info and tickets at NuggetCasinoResort.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Get it with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-837-5050. That's 800-837-5050. 800-837-5050.
With 25 award-winning years in Northern California, Ashton & Price is your local injury law firm. Pro attorney tip: if a firm presents it's local, but they're in LA, red flag. If your first consultation is not with a lawyer, big red flag. At Ashton & Price, your first consult is with a local attorney, and if serious injury prevents travel, a lawyer will come to you. Still not enough? George Washington's my uncle. At Ashton & Price, no red flags, just red, white, and blue.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
I love this time of year when the azaleas begin to bloom and the singing birds' sweet dawn chorus remind us that blue skies and sunshine are at hand. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. In sports, the definition for the word master is one who's achieved a high degree of skill, and that will be on display in the highly anticipated golf tournament. In the furniture business, a master is a highly skilled craftsman, an artist even, whose work is coveted by those who appreciate design, quality, and durability. John Keyes was the mastermind of Naturewood Home Furnishings. He knew that you wanted your home to reflect your personal style, whether that was a plain coffee table or a masterpiece for you to enjoy forever. That's why when you walk into Naturewood Home Furnishings, you'll find the largest and best selection of the highest quality home furnishings in Northern California. Masterful. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
What's going on, world? It's your boy Kevin Hart with some exciting news. I am coming to a city near you. My new tour is called Acting My Age, and I want to see you there. Come out, have a good night, a good time. It's all new material in a much, much more intimate setting. Go get your tickets and head to KevinHartNation.com now.
Comedy superstar Kevin Hart brings his new tour, Acting My Age, to the venue at Thunder Valley on Saturday, April 26th. Tickets on sale now at ThunderValleyResort.com and KevinHartNation.com.
At Big O Tires, now through April 27th, get $50 to $100 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Cooper, Bridgestone, Firestone, Pirelli, or Hankook brand tires with installation purchase. Disposal fees extra, not good with other offers. See your locally owned Big O Tire store for pricing.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
One more segment with you as we take you up to 2 p.m. Been a fun ride here. I get ready to take off tomorrow. I'm going back to Cali. So I will be on a flight, and we will be back in action on Monday. Brendan Nunez will be filling in for me tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on the Allen Stiles Show. Some text coming in as we discuss the A's. 209, how about the new Gold Diggers name? Yeah, so an alternate identity coming from the Sacramento River Cats, the Sacramento Gold Diggers, and Kyle still has that jersey on, got the hat on, got some bling on, and Kyle is rocking what they will be rocking starting April 19th, and I will be in the building for that game, April 19th. I will be the MC for that game. So very, very excited for that. Go get all of your new gear at SacramentoRiverCats.com. You can search that and check them out. And I am actively trying to get one of those jerseys myself because I'll be working there. And I definitely want to look the same as the rest of the team in case they need a pinch hitter, right? My goal still is to take some BP with a torpedo bat at Sutter Health Park. That is my goal before. I mean, they're going to be on the field so much anyway. Somebody's going to let me on that dang field.
We should be able to make that happen, right? That's not like an out of this world request. At first, I thought you were going to be like, my goal is to be like on the official lineup card or something. Like,
no.
Batting practice at a River Cats game, we should be able to make that happen.
So I will talk to the necessary people, and that one will be content. Because if I get one out of there, I need the world to see it.
That's a pretty big if, am I right?
It's not that big of an if. I'll tell you that much right now. All right, Kyle, let's get to and real quick, 209 saying, if the Rays move to Sac, it would take a while to build a fan base that packs the house, even years. And again, that's if the Rays are saying we're the Sacramento Rays, right? It's taken the Raiders time, and they are the Las Vegas Raiders. The A's are here not as the Sacramento A's. So you're spot on that, 209. And Jeff from the 916 says, I think it all comes down to one thing, whoever builds an MLB stadium first. I think it's kind of a chicken or the egg thing there, Jeff. Nobody's going to start building until they get the green light. So I don't know if maybe it's whoever can build it the fastest. Maybe that's part of that conversation as well. We'll keep talking about that. I definitely want to get to this. Kyle cooked up a fun game for us. It's really just a prediction situation. And the vision is still clear for me. It's been clear this week. The mic may not
clear now.
The mic may not have been clear towards the end of my time here in PA, but the visions are still clear. And I'm going to go with this, Kyle. It's very simple to me. Number 3, the Lakers are going to hold that down. That's easy peasy. Number 4, this is where it gets confusing. You even forget who all is possible. Number 4, give me the. I don't even know if the Nuggets can still get there.
Oh, they can, definitely.
Give me the Clippers at number 4.
No, that would mean the Nuggets would beat the Grizzlies and the Clippers would beat the Warriors and the Kings. The Clippers would have to beat the Kings and the Warriors to get there.
How do the Nuggets? Then give me the Nuggets.
Grizzlies at home at Rockets, but the Rockets will be sitting everyone.
Give me the Nuggets at 4. After that, now what we've all been waiting for. Now you give me the Clippers.
All roads lead to the Clippers as the 5 seed. I agree.
Always. Give me the Warriors at number 6.
I think that's possible, but that's a tough situation because they play the Clippers.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that bumps I'm pretty sure Clippers at 5 means that the Warriors are probably 7.
Or it means the Warriors lose to, who's their other game? The Blazers on the road.
Yeah, so this is what I want, not necessarily what's going to happen. Number 8, the Timberwolves, of course. And number 9, give me the Kings. And number 10, the Mavericks. That's it right there, Kyle. That's first round against the Thunder, please. An inexperienced Thunder team, by the way.
So in your scenario, you have the Grizzlies and Timberwolves rematching in the 7-8 game. You have the Warriors and Lakers first round series. That would be excellent. And the Clippers traveling to Denver in the first round of the playoffs.
Let's do it.
All right, real quick before we go, I'm going to agree with you on the Clippers and Nuggets 4-5, Lakers in the 3. The only thing I'm going to switch is the Warriors will be in the play-in because they're going to lose to the Clippers, the last game of the season. And the loser of tonight's game will be the 8 seed. And the winner of tonight's game between the Grizzlies and the Timberwolves will end up being the... one is the 6, one is the 8. Loser is the 8, winner is the 6 in tonight's Grizzlies Timberwolves game. Something to look forward to.
There you go. Well, something else to look forward to. The Drive Guys coming up next with Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, and Jay Johnson. Thanks for listening to the Allen Stiles Show. I will be back in studio, back on the home turf on Monday. Brendan Nunez filling in for me. Tomorrow, he has got you, and it will be a crazy game against the Clippers. Thanks to Kyle for handling all the tech stuff that we had going on all week. Thanks to all the callers, texters, sack chatters. As always, Drive Guys coming up next. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. And until tomorrow for you, until Monday for me, secure the bag like the bee.
Gotta go.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like,